Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All In channel, host Sega Forever here. Just a really quick video. I just wanted to address some concerns. As you guys know, it's been a pretty crazy day, even crazier 2 weeks, but Phil finally responded. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on this video. Again, forgive me for the background noise. I heard it in the last video that I did. I've gotten kind of numb to the noise in the background. Whether it's the cars coming up the street or we have these birds that are flying all over the place, parakeets and stuff. And so I kind of get numb to it and I forget that it could be distracting for some of you guys who actually listen and watch these videos or join me for the podcast. Again, it's an all-in cast. Hopefully some of you guys will jump into the discussion, into the chat, and definitely we'll read your comments. So bear with me, guys. Just want to make sure everything is up and running as usual. Okay, looks like everything's working. All right, we're good. I'm gonna shut down my YouTube this time ahead of time so I don't get caught up in the back and forth, because that happened to me last time, and I don't want to miss any of the comments. Now, again, I'm doing this sporadically, kind of off the cuff. Again, a lot of the stuff that was going on earlier today kind of warrants it. I was very active on Twitter today. It was actually, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun for me, guys. Just gonna reiterate to you guys. I mean, I've talked about this on a podcast I did Saturday. It wasn't one of the longer podcasts. It's really short from my channel, and I just reiterate to you guys. I mean, given between Saturday and now, and especially with Phil Spencer commenting, right, actually addressing people, which is why I'm doing this video. My thoughts have not changed at all. Everything I said on Saturday still stands, because the bottom line is, dude, this is all still hearsay and rumors. And I know I see a lot of you guys on Twitter talking about some of this stuff as gospel, right? And I'm not saying that it won't happen. As you guys listen to my podcast on Saturday, I have a different mindset, and it's only been strengthened. In fact, it's gotten worse, if I'm being honest. You guys listen to my channel and follow me on social media. You guys know that I can go down a rabbit hole when it comes to stuff like this, because I look at stuff from different angles, different variations, almost like looking into a multiverse, if I'm being honest, right? Especially when it comes to stuff like this, because I've already made up my mind on what I think Xbox is going to do. And like I said on Saturday's podcast, regardless of what they do, it just has to make sense to me, right? And everything everybody's saying just doesn't make sense, right? So at best, it's I don't see any of this stuff happening at all. I just think it's hearsay and rumors. There's probably some changes, but I don't think it's what people expect. And it's worse. It's going to be a mishmash of some of the things that you heard earlier, possibly, right? But again, like I've been telling people on social media, because there's a lot of people panicking right now, which is par for the course when it comes to this community. It's always been this way, guys, and I'm not trying to make light of it or trying to make fun of anybody. It's just that I've been rocking out with Xbox since 2013. And it was in 2013 that I decided to put all my time, effort, and energy and finances behind Xbox One. And when Phil Spencer took over, I doubled down, I tripled down on that, right? Because what ended up happening was Phil Spencer, basically Microsoft was moving to an ecosystem, which totally changed everything if you're an Xbox guy, right? And that's what I decided to move forward with, is actually treating Xbox like an ecosystem. Right? And ever since 2015 up until 2023, you've seen how Microsoft has changed over the years to the point where we are now. With 2023, what a lot of people say in 2023 was one of their best years ever, right? I don't think they've ever missed a year since 2015. Actually, I didn't have a problem. I spoke about this at nauseam, because I didn't have a problem in 2013. I actually liked the Xbox One console for what it was, and what it was going to do. So, I'm letting you guys know now, because I mean, for me, these last 10 years. But the only negative I have is that it didn't become the all-in-one console. But it looks like it might be that way again. And this is before all the rumors about what's going on, right? And that's why I kind of gravitated towards the ecosystem, because the ecosystem, even though it's not the full all-in-one system kind of thing, it has the same trappings of it. And where Microsoft, of course, always ahead of its time, sometimes a detriment to them. And it's not really their fault, right? You guys understand now the level of hatred and vitriol that Microsoft has to deal with, that guys like Phil and or people like Phil and Sarah have to deal with, who are really nice people, right? It doesn't matter, man. It's a toxic gaming community, especially on the Sony side of things, right? So this is what they've been dealing with for the last 10 years. Again, I'll even go back further than that. Dude. I'm kind of have a, I've been put through the fire, man, baptism by fire with all this stuff, because you guys know I'm a hardcore Sega fan. Right? And that's the last time I really shilled for a company was Sega. And we all know what happened to Sega back in the day, and that was it, man. Lesson learned. You know, that company was everything to me. As far as video gaming and stuff like that, I played a lot of different video games on a lot of different systems, but Sega was my favorite. Right, the Genesis, to the Saturn, to the Dreamcast. Right, I even had a 32X. I mean, in all their iterations, man, I would follow Sega. Right? For various reasons, which I talked about. I'm not going to get into that right now because I talked about it in Nazi. Hey, what's up, Volvo? Welcome, dude. I had to do a quick podcast just to get some stuff off my chest, especially after today. I'm pretty sure you've been keeping up. Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw you comment, so I don't know how heavy you've been keeping up with everything on Twitter. Um, is it over? Time to pack it up? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I am. If you didn't see, which I'm pretty sure you did, Phil Spencer actually came out with a comment talking about how he's going to address everything. And then people were all over the place with that. No matter what Microsoft does or Phil does, if people haven't realized this yet, I know you do. People like me, most people that are in our circle, people that hang on in our chats, we know this. It doesn't matter what Microsoft does. It's a damned if they do, damned if they don't situation for Microsoft or Xbox, especially in the gaming community. So, is it time? Is it over? Is it time to pack up? No, I don't think so, man. And then, like I said, because of some of the stuff I said on Saturday, I still haven't changed my opinion on that. And I'm just going to wait for the man to speak. Like some people were complaining, thinking it was too clinical, the way he put it. Why he didn't debunk any rumors. It was kind of funny because somebody screenshotted somebody who's friends with Phil that was on Xbox, and Phil was playing Diablo. And somebody took a picture of that and they shared it on Twitter. Right? And people was like, "Oh, dude, why is he playing a game? Why is he addressing this?" And all I wrote back was like, "This tells me that even more so not to worry." Right? In my opinion, right? I mean, if this dude was sweating bullets over any of this kind of stuff, you know, he wouldn't be playing Diablo. And Phil plays games. Dude. Phil's a gamer, just like the rest of us. Now, some of the stuff I'm hearing coming out, dude, I mean, it does sound a bit brutal. But again, I just wait to hear you make his comment, man, because nothing's set in stone. A lot of stuff that everybody's saying, dude, is stuff that they've been saying for years when it comes to Xbox, man. Now they're going a little bit more over the edge with this stuff, right? There's some of the stuff they're saying, you know. But I mean, it was every year that Xbox shouldn't even be around right now, given all the negativity that it went through 2013 and every year since then, right? It's over for Xbox. Nobody buys the console. It's over for Xbox. They have no games, right? And within just a couple of months ago, right? You see these dudes, like the very same people hating on Xbox, saying it has no games and that it needs to go away. You see these same guys begging for Xbox games, right? And I know Unlimited had a podcast, and he bought on there the Sega Man, Others Inc., Unlimited himself, right? They made some really good comments about that as well. Because it does seem kind of funny that a lot of the time when negative news comes out about Xbox, it's actually a reflection of stuff that's going on in the gaming industry in general, but a lot of times on the Sony side. Like Microsoft buys a bunch of studios, they're showing all these games. Looks like Sony's don't have a lot of stuff to show. Looks like some of their games might not be coming this year. Their year looks dry. And then all of a sudden the narrative changes and boom, Microsoft is putting their games on the PlayStation and on the PlayStation ecosystem. Right. And, I look at that and I'm like, dude, I'm going to get to a point where it's almost ridiculous. This whole third party thing with Microsoft, like I said, absolutely makes no sense to me. Especially since Microsoft, not just Xbox, but Microsoft in general had probably one of their strongest financial earnings ever, right? I think they're back up being the number one company, maybe the number one or number two, right? But they're a $3 trillion company, And stuff like that is not something that $3 trillion companies do, unless they see an opening, that they're gonna make more money. But if you disperse that yourself, it doesn't make any sense, right? If you analyze it, because the level of people that will participate, for me, this is my personal opinion, Google, the people that want to get the game, they'll buy an Xbox to play, right? Now, the messaging where people I kind of agree with, right? When it comes to the messaging, is that giving people hope that have the PlayStation or people that would prefer to get a PlayStation, right? And then you sit there and you're waffling about what is really going to happen, and then of course the media push it, all the haters push it, and it becomes confusing. I can see that kind of being a problem. But again, I mean, for me, it's just like, dude, Microsoft is a huge company, dude. They're a $3 trillion company. The only time I see Microsoft do specific things is in the best interest of the company and the bottom line, in a sense, right? Like you see them buy either another company for hundreds of millions of dollars, and then it doesn't work out for them, and they just close up shop. I've seen them do that a couple times, right? But there's logic and reason to everything that they do, in my opinion, that I see, right? The way I look at it now, again, and I'm not, you know, like I gave my thoughts on Saturday. Like I said, that hasn't changed, but I see a lot of people right now, like they're wavering, dude. They're going back and forth, dude. A lot of people talk about they're gonna cancel the service, all of that stuff. I will say this, man. I am not opposed to people doing what they feel is right for themselves, especially as consumers, and as fans. But a lot of them is coming from a consumer viewpoint as well. Look, dude, it's your time, it's your money, right? And what you want to do with that is none of my business, honestly. Right. So if that's what you want to do, then I have no problem with that. If you're a person that's a little bit more on the positive side, because there's two types, right? There's myself and I'm positive, saying that I just want to see what Phil has to say, because none of this stuff makes sense to me. Um, like you're just saying right here, Google. Yeah, it makes no sense. Their financials seem fine, and their and the way that they conduct their business, it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, it's really weird, if I'm being honest, right? That's why I don't. That's why I'm not losing my mind about it. Now, next week, if I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, because again, dude, that's I'm not looking at it like emotionally too. You know what I mean? Because we've been through this, man. This is like rinse, wash, repeat. How many times have we heard that this company is going to die, and they keep on sticking around, right? And not only that, they're growing, right? They're doing some heavy damage, man. There's people actually coming over to the system, which is what which is what the goal should be for Microsoft to do, and which I believe what the goal is. Like a lot of people, especially in this day and age, they expect things to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen overnight, dude. They got a good buzz going for them, right? They see people are actually looking at the system. They sold more consoles. I don't know where all this is coming out. There, like the consoles aren't selling, dude. The fact that they can even get a bump up in sales, given the economy that we're in, that's another problem too, right? Like a lot of people are just in their own bubble. A lot of people are selfish, man, in this generation. I'm just gonna be honest with you, right? So they'll be able to see it beyond their own issues, right, and look at the bigger picture. Which, I mean, considering everything that's going on with the economy, dude, video games is not a necessity for 99.9% of people. I'm a gamer, and I'll say that, dude. If I have to choose between feeding my kids, feeding myself, paying the rent, paying the electric, paying water, dude, that would easily take precedent over playing video games or supporting Microsoft. That's the reality of it, dude. So for Microsoft to even be in the position they're in, not a lot of companies are doing that. And that's another thing that pissed me off about the whole 1,900 people getting laid off, dude. There's industries laying off. Like I said this on Saturday, dude. There's industries doing that across the board. In tech as well, dude. Sorry, let me get back to the chat. We'll find out what Xbox features next week. Yeah, unlimited. Great post on Twitter, man. I know you've limited your participation in Twitter, stuff like that, but I mean it's good to see you posting, man. At least one of the more sane people, of course. There's a lot of people it's just going nuts. And again, I'm not hating on people that feel that way. If you want to sell your Xbox, if you want to check out, that's up to you. That's fine. There's people that are like, well, I see nothing wrong with this. They go on third party. I don't agree with them, but that's their choice as well. Everybody's like getting a different take on this. I told you guys what I feel about it on Saturday. But the bottom line is, dude, until Phil Spencer says anything, none of this stuff should be taken seriously, if we're being honest. I think for once the worst case scenario is hitting Xbox, depending on how you look at it. I wish they had leadership that hated Sony instead of wanting Sony money, who won't buy their games. Um, yeah, yeah, and that's why, like it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if it's like I seen what some people are saying, I kind of go down a different path when it comes to that. I mean, either way, it's bad for Sony. And again, I go down these rabbit holes because it's easy for me to do that unlimited, and I try and pull myself back when I do that. But yeah, I mean, they could, right? But it's just like at some point, like I said on Saturday, I don't know why Sony or Nintendo would want that either, because that opens up the door for Microsoft to actually take over gaming, right? If a lot of the people that buy your console and don't buy your games, and then that affects your bottom line, as Phil was saying earlier, right? He says like what they'll do is like they're using like Call of Duty, for example, they're using that money to broker deals. Well, right now there is no brokering deals because you're dealing with your competition, at least for Sony, right? You're dealing with Microsoft, you're dealing with Xbox. So Microsoft just right, or Xbox just basically cuts out the middleman. They are the middleman, right? So what happens then? Because what I mean, unless Microsoft gives them like an 80-20 split, 80 going to Sony for putting on the system. Yeah, I don't see them doing that either. That makes no sense. Like, anyway, you hash this out, man. I mean, I'll be honest with you, dude, and that's why I was posting some of the stuff I was posting on Twitter. None of this stuff looks just as bad for Sony. Now, there's Sony guys that are saying they hope they don't happen. This doesn't happen because of some of the things that Sony's been doing over the last 2 years, raising the game prices, charging more for stuff, right? There's also rumors not too long ago that they're going to start putting content into chapters and stuff like that, and having you pay for it by chapter, all this kind of stuff, right? Of course, a lot of you guys, if you guys never heard of that, you probably didn't because everybody was jumping on Microsoft for ads on their dashboard and then a possible ad service with Game Pass, right? Again, if Microsoft does it, it's evil. Sony does far worse thing and actually implements it, and nobody says a word. That's why I don't take these dudes seriously. Yeah, this is what I saw King David's video. That's what he was saying. Unlimited. He wants what he keeps on saying. He wants Kong dead. I mean, I personally think it's a foregone conclusion. I don't know how Sony continues, right? Because if a company like Microsoft supposedly is suffering, you know, Nintendo and Sony, I don't know how they stick it out. This is why I'm not thinking like how everybody's thinking when it comes to Xbox. You know what's funny? I remember when I started listening to your show, I looked up Microsoft market capital at the time. I think it was late 2022 was 1.8 trillion IRC. Yeah, yeah. They've brother, in the last couple of years, man, they've stepped it into hyperdrive. Now, in that sense, right, you can see some of it financially, because the thing that's coming out, right, is that there's a civil war going on between Microsoft and the Xbox side, and the Microsoft side is basically looking at the financials. They're trying to figure out um, how they can like increase their profits and stuff like that. That's what we're hearing, right? And to that, I say just look at Marvel Disney, man. I think this is one of the things that's killing pop culture. I said this on Twitter, man. You have a lot of these non-creatives getting into spaces where creatives occupy, right? Some of the best things to do is just let your creative people, especially people in the business that know what they're doing, let them handle that. And Microsoft pretty much does that a lot. So I'll just wait to see what Phil says if that's an issue. I don't know if that'll come up, right? I mean, I'm not saying it isn't happening. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. Why kill the golden goose, especially with all the moves that they've made over the last 3 or 4 years? I mean, that AKB thing was humongous. I know people are weaponizing that, saying that using it against Microsoft. The only hard time I have believing that is that they just posted some of their biggest financials in a heavily inundated recession. Dude, there's companies closing left and right, dude, big and small. Every company across the board suffering. Microsoft is no different. They have to lay off some people. It was kind of cool because there's a person on Twitter that posted that she's back with the company, right? She was initially let go, and then she came back, right? So who knows what's going on with that 1,900 people? Some people might have wanted to retire. Some people wanted to walk away. Some people are tired of it. So maybe some people didn't want to join Microsoft. Maybe they found something else. Right? None of this stuff is shared, so it's just pure speculation. So what I'm saying is, I could sit here and speculate all I want to as well. I mean, it's that. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry, Google. Where am I? Yeah, yeah, and that's what I mean, right? Does it make sense that they would do that? Like I said on Twitter, and I said this in the podcast on Saturday, the only way this makes sense to me is if Phil, right, comes on stage, he introduces the current president of Sony and whoever is in charge of Nintendo. I don't know who they are, and they said they actually own their companies. Imagine what would happen, like, or something like this. This is what I was thinking. I said this on Twitter earlier. Say like Phil Spencer comes on board and they say something like, "Okay, we're working with Sony," and everybody jumps to the conclusion that okay, it's over. Sony's getting Game Pass, which doesn't make sense to me either. And then Sony's going to get all these games because that's what they want. This is what, especially the ponies, they really want this, right? And trust me, man, Unlimited. We were talking about this. I know you're talking about this earlier. It's nothing to do with them wanting the games, dude. I'm telling you, man. There might be some of them that'll play it, but they don't really want the games, dude. They just want to shove it back in your face. And if Microsoft does that, dude, they're gonna find out a cold hard fact because I seen it happen. Like I said on Twitter today, I saw that happen in real time with Sega, right? Because I filled myself up with hopium back then. I was like, okay, well, on the bright side now Sega can they restructure and then they'll come out with all the games and then the teams will be there. And it was the total opposite, dude. He found out real quick that people are just full of crap, dude. And it was all the Sony guys too, all those ponies. That's why I never forgave him for that, dude. That's why I war with these guys all the time, and I want them to die, right? Because I remember that time. It was brutal, man. Sony, Sega, completely, dude. They lost themselves, man. All the teams that they had, all the guys, everybody left. That's why the team. That's why Sega was never the same after that, right? And all you have about Sega, when it's in its heyday, actually when they're at its greatest zenith, as a video game company, that's gone. You can't replace people, man. You can't replace creativity. Right? I mean, you can replace it, but they never capture that time again, right? And that was Sony, man. Sony put that nail in the coffin. I know people are like, well, Sega's in a bad spot. Yeah, they're in a big spot, right? But Sony had no qualms about crushing them. This is why I sit here all the time, man, hoping and praying that Microsoft will return the favor to Sony, so they know how it feels like, so their fans will know how it feels like. Well, these guys aren't gamers. I told you guys on Saturday, man. These are the dude bros that came in here, and they ended up kind of taking over the normie space with this stuff. They become a brand and a well-known brand. Just like, look, dude, McDonald's doesn't have the best hamburgers, right? But they're McDonald's hamburgers, and you're used to it, and they got something to name for themselves. And then there's reasons why people go, which is actually falling apart now, which I think is funny. Even the president of McDonald's came out today and apologized. Right? He's like, okay, we're going to work on getting our prices lower. Right? You're paying like $16 to $18 for a combo meal is ridiculous. Even me, man, I'm like, I saw the prices. I'm like, do you guys know your McDonald's? You guys know who you are? You guys feeling yourself a little bit too much. So yeah, yeah, good point, bro. I mean, they are a $3 trillion company, so unlimited production. One thing I won't do is pretend to love Sony now, like the Xbox community is doing. Well, I mean, yeah, I say it this way, unlimited, right? It's like people are dealing with this in their own way, right? So I don't know, dude. I'll never like Sony, dude. And even after all is said and done, I'll still be hoping they die. That's how hardcore I am with this, man. I don't like that company one bit, dude. And the sad part is, I used to love Sony products. Not so much the PlayStation, though. I had them all until PlayStation 3, but especially the electronics, man. You know, I used to love it, and they put out good quality stuff, man. That's not the case anymore. The fact that PlayStation is still around boggles my mind. They should have died like 5 years ago. They should have died before that, but they've always been propped up, man, by their toxic fan base who carry a big microphone, man, but they're not. They don't have the numbers, which again, Microsoft will find out, right? You see a lot of people, right? They do it for clout. A lot of people are just bandwagon jumping, you know. And I'm hoping, I feel, I'll say this much. I feel that Microsoft is smart enough to do this. Again, dude, Phil Spencer, when all this was going down, he was playing Diablo. So take that for what it's worth, man. Like I said, people were mad. They're like, why isn't he addressing this? Why is he that? I thought that was the most awesomest thing, dude. I was like, dude, that puts my mind at ease, man. This dude is not concerned. And he probably is not concerned because he doesn't have a reason to be concerned. I'm telling you, dude. I have more faith in Phil Spencer coming out on stage sometime next week to address the whole situation. And so I just like to say that we formed a partnership with PlayStation and Nintendo, and that their games are coming to Game Pass. Wouldn't that be funny? I don't know if it'll be day one, but it could be day one, right? Because we already have MLB The Show, right? There's a dude that I follow on Twitter, and we were going back and forth, and he made some great points. I mean, I understand MLB pushed him, but it's still continuing, right? Which tells you they're happy with the sales. They're getting more sales. You put in more places, you get more sales, right? And that's what Game Pass is. Game Pass is a catalyst for that. Yeah, don't worry. I'm the same way. Unlimited. I'll never be that way, dude. I'll be an enemy of Sony until the day they disappear. Google Poll. Yeah, like Tim Dog going mental. What the F? I like the guy, but chill out. Let's see what they tell us first. I hate how he assumes he knows everything that's happening at Xbox, like he feels. But I would say this though. Tim has lasted longer than most. Tim's from that original crew when we were back there in 2013, and he's lasted longer than most do. So I will give him his props for that. But this is what happens when you hang out with these people, man. Eventually, it's gonna get to you, dude. It's like your parents would tell you, man, mind the company you keep. And Tim's a cool dude. I mean, he reps Xbox for the most part, right? But he always is surrounded by dudes that are not Xbox guys, right? He knows the PlayStation guys. He communicates with them, right? Um, he was around dudes that was Xbotians. Now they're pony bots, right? Today you saw. So and I'll put Tim Dog today in the category of an Xbox with pony tendencies. No, he's frustrated, dude. I mean, I will give him another credit too because he deals on this stuff on a level that I do not, right? In the sense of that everybody comes after him, right? Hat tip to my boy, Hebot, right? Hebot would deal with that as well on a level that most of us, even within our circle, never have to worry about, right? And then Hebot, man, he goes out there, dude, and he'll fight. I ain't say that, but still, yeah, dude. The way these guys he was a magnet to these people. So, Tim Dog, dude. I mean, I'll look, whatever happens next week, this is my one and only pass to him. I mean, I know he's all up in his feelings right now, dude. I, but that's what happens when you hang around with people that is not of your ilk, man. I just put it that way. You know, the stuff that he's saying today was even, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised myself, but I mean, look, the dude cracked, right? Phil comes out next week and and lays out the whole thing, and it's nothing, and all of this it means nothing. Much ado about nothing, and I'm pretty sure he'll be back, right? But these guys too, man, they'll complain too. Not so much Tim, but then like the others people that he associates with, man. Like even if things are good, don't expect these dudes to change their tune, man. They'll just say something like, well, he should have come out more clearly and did this. They're never happy, is what I'm trying to say. So there's no sense in like trying to, dude, just ignore these guys. That's what I do. Because there's a lot of people like, oh, I'm not watching these guys stuff again. I'm not doing that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I've not listened to them in years. Right? They showed their colors a long time ago. And again, guys, I participate in the console war. I am in the console war. So that's why I learned my lesson real quick, dude. Like I say all the time, man, you can't go to war with these dudes, man. These dudes will get you killed. These dudes are too big. They're too wishy-washy, man. They're too up in their feelings, man. When it's time to take action, man, these guys will have doubt, and that's when you get taken down, right? And so, again, this is just video games and stuff like that, but you know what I mean, right? These guys won't have your back, is what I'm trying to say. This is like the worst group of people to be around. Is people that are they're not committed, dude. You have to be committed in this, dude. Especially if you're on the Xbox side. It's rough being on this side, man. As you guys see, that's why we say bleed green. Right? If you're gonna be pro Xbox, man, you gotta have thick skin, man. You gotta be ready to go. Right? If you don't want to and you want to step away, fine, man. Respect. It's not for everybody. Right? Just stay there and play the games. Own your multiple consoles. Right? Go get your games that you want to get. Right? Probably wouldn't be a good idea to come in and give your opinion though, because you will get smacked down. A lot of these guys will find out if things don't go south like they think it is. They I mean, not me personally, right? Because I already know how these guys are. But there's a lot of people that are going to be pissed off at these dudes. They're probably going to get the crap gamer treatment for doing that. Hey, what's up, Anthony Chipmunk, bro? Cheers. Welcome. Welcome, my brother. Oh, there we go. Cheers. Yep. Welcome, dude. Just a little sideshow podcast. Everything that was going on, which I thought was hilarious. Sorry, guys. I'll try and catch up with the chat. But Anthony, thanks for being here, brother. And comment, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that had feelings about today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, Shane G. Yeah, Shane, you can I'm not saying you can't comment, man, but I've seen your Twitters all day, dude. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. If I'm in the front line, dude, I'll be with Shane. Dude, Shane will have your back, dude. But good tweets, man. Way to keep dudes in check, man. Bringing a very honest conversation that that people need, right? Especially those guys who are wavering, man, who lost their faith, dude. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Tim Dog is the OG, but completely jumped the shark. A bipolar meltdown. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's hard to, he's been kind of like he's been old Ironsides, man. Old faithful, dude. All these years. What is it? Well, what are we? 13, 14 years in? And I'm talking just from 2013, man, because we went through a lot. Again, this is why this doesn't really bother me as much, guys, just for the simple fact that 2013, dude, it is. That was the worst, dude. It don't 2013, 2014, going into 2015. Those are the dark ages. This is just that was like a war, man. What we're doing right now is just a battle. I mean, we skirmish a lot with guys on the other side, but this is just a battle, right? And we see how that battle goes, man. Wait for the general to give the marching orders next week, right? We see how all that goes down. But I mean, man, dude, I mean, you guys, and then I guess some of you guys might be new to the game, so I can understand that. But yeah, welcome, Shane. Yeah, dude, we'll see. We'll check on Tim next week, see how he's doing. I despise Sony. So do I, brother. They need to die. I would prefer a slow, painful death, but I'll take any death. Those guys are living on borrowed time. The fact that they'll be able to last this long, and then of course the rumors, and then I believe Unlimited was talking about that. Not Unlimited. What was I listening to? But anyway, man, getting propped up by Xbox, which could have negative connotations. And I don't think the ponies never think things through, man. But basically, Microsoft, in a sense, dude, could put like both Nintendo and Sony on the walk, man. I'm just saying, walking that dead mile, dude. If things look at the way that it is, man, if Microsoft really enforces their power and influence, I would prefer them to just destroy them straight out. But this could be Machiavellian, man. And like I said, I'm waiting for what Phil says next week. So, but yeah, 100% despise Sony, bro. What's up, Tool Man? Thank you for coming to the podcast. A short one today. Just wanted to get, like I said, give my bars off and talk about this. Kind of get the pulse of what's going on. I'm pretty sure, man, I know a lot of you guys, dude. I don't worry about you guys. Because, I mean, there's a reason why we occupy these spaces and these circles that we run in. I know what we've been seeing over the last couple of days, especially over the weekend, was pretty bad for the Xbox community, right? Again, I'm numb to it. Yeah, I'm used to it. I mean, the Xbox guys just have a propensity to just complain. Even when stuff is good, man, that's just the way they are. I'm not saying that's just, that it's right, that it's justified, but that's just the way it is. I've gotten used to it, dude. I would be shocked if they actually were happy. You know what I'm saying? It blows my mind. Because this weekend I played Power World, enjoyed that game. It kind of took me away from a couple other games I was playing. And I finally got to a level in Power World where I'm opening up the crafting menu, which is something I really enjoy. And I actually spent time, moved my base to a better area, plotted it all out, spent some time building out. I'm not saying it's the best house, but I laid out stuff prior to and I started working on that. And I spent a couple of hours on that stuff, dude. I mean, I know days was just coming and going, because that's the way I like to play, right? I went out and to unlock some stuff, I had to go out and catch some boss. That's probably the thing I don't care about the most. I mean, I have no problem playing it, but it's not on my list. But because it kind of reminds me of Coral Island, dude. There's stuff that you have to unlock that, and you have to participate in other areas of the game that you normally wouldn't do, right? So that's what I did all weekend. Just play Power World, dude. I think I'm almost 20, 16, 20, around there. And I actually caught some of the bigger pals, which is kind of cool, right? I tried to take on the mammoth, which I knew I shouldn't have done, but I was like, I'll chance it. I'll see how just to get a feel of how it was. Dude, that did disturb me, man. The only good thing is this is in my area, so after I respawned, I just ran and grabbed my stuff. And then the mammoth I was playing, he disappeared. And there's just one left because what was happening is I built my house in this one particular area, and then these mammoths. There's only one, and he would walk through from time to time. And then one time, one of my characters, and I was trying to build that character up, was hitting on the tree, and I accidentally hit him, and he attacked her. And actually took her out. I mean, of course, you put it back in the pal thing, and then it's fine. But I've been wanting to kill that mammoth dude for the longest time. I don't even want to capture him, dude. I just want to destroy him. Dude, I just that's how I mean, I just looked at him, dude. I can't stand that thing because it's just the way he is. He just walks through my area, and then he'll stop and look around. Right, he'll walk in front of my dude. He's just a prick, dude. I just want him destroyed. I was just like, dude, you lucky, man. I'm trying. That kind of pushed me. That's why I put more hours into it. I'm trying to level up to get poison arrows. I got fire arrows. I'm trying to get poison arrows. I'm trying to get to the point where my one of my characters gets a gun, and I'll load that up. So I already have ammunition, but I've been taking on the syndicate in that game already. But great game. So my point is that I spent a lot of time doing that. So I'm not, I understand what's going on, dude. But I'm like, dude, I'll just play my games, which I think a lot of people should be doing, and not spending a lot of time on social media when stuff like this happens. Just escape to your games, man. Xbox has a ton of stuff, which again tells me, man, I can't see any of this stuff happening. Again, my opinion. Oh, hey, Toolman Anthony says, "What's up?" Sorry, guys, I'm catching up. Yeah, Toolman says, "Hey, back." Shane G, hey, what's up, bro? Yeah. So gaming is so expensive, especially AAA. Let's face it, with 34 studios day and date, it was hard to be sustainable for $17 a month. I think I will say though, I mean, and I know they don't really share the amount of subscriptions, but just do keep in mind, 34 studios is a lot to pay for. But one thing I think that, and this shows, especially when the stuff came out about Sony and Spider-Man, right? When you sell a game the way Sony sells their games, it's just like I say, it's just like a movie, right? You got to make the money on that day and date. You can continue to make money on it, right? But after a while, you start seeing it drop, right? Like it's been interesting for me because I've been keeping up with. I just didn't have time to go buy Like a Dragon, the newest one. I want to go buy it, but I've just been kind of busy, and so I've seen that it's getting great scores, whatever. I don't care about scores and all that, but it's been critically acclaimed. Right, one of the top best selling games for this year thus far, and it looks like it has some legs and has some traction, right? So that people are going out like Hogwarts, when people will go out and actually buy the game. That's what you want if you're going to have that type of business model for gaming. The problem is, right? There's like so many games, and there's so many different types of games, not just AAA, double A's, right? I mean, like all it takes is a game like Power World to come in, right? That is way less money to make. And I know they got issues with the servers, but I'll just say this: you have a game like Power World that can just suck up all the air in the room, and then you have 19 million people playing it, right? So that's going to have an effect on your game if you're releasing at the same time, or even later on down the road, man. Because you have a lot of games like I'm playing Warhammer, Call of Duty, right? I haven't jumped back into Halo like I wanted to. There's a lot of games that you can play and just survive in that game, which is why I believe Microsoft actually went ahead and purchased Activision, King Blizzard, right? Because they're trying to grow that. And then with their engagement on the games that they have that people are totally engaged in, right? That's one way to kind of offset the costs, right? Because I'm telling you, man, these games, this is why I never liked the AAA thing, man. I have nothing against AAA games, dude. If you like to play those games, fine. Right? But the reasoning behind it never made sense. Because if you have drop-offs like that, you would see that in other businesses. Again, I'll reference the movies, right? You see a drop-off like that, and for a lot of these games that happens like that, they're not making their money back. You don't get sequels, dude. Studios close down. People get fired. Or that used to be the case, right? For the most part, right? At least video games is still like that. So I could see why the Game Pass model is good, right? Because the amount of money you put in and the amount of money that they're making every month, that's why it's important for them to grow the subscription. Now that could be the sticking point, like they expect to be at this subscription to do that, but it's just that Microsoft doesn't think that. Like they don't prop their numbers up like that. They're very I hate to use the word conservative, but they look at all the numbers and stuff like that, right? They don't want to put themselves in a bad bind, right? To me, they'll go for the lowest common denominator. Like for a lot of times when they share the numbers, I think there's more people that they see actively, but they probably do it in the point of like actively in a certain type of activity, right? Like it's one thing to be playing a game, it's another thing to be playing a game and actually buying the stuff in the game, right? That's what separates your Fortnite and Call of Duties from other live services that exist, right? So trying to make that balance, I understand, but all I see is upside. Again, I don't know the figures and the data because Microsoft doesn't share it, right? But every indication to me for everything that they've been doing, man, would indicate that they're successful with their game plan, right? Phil's come out and said it. He doesn't go out there and says, well, we're making bazillions of dollars, right? But he does let people know, yeah, it's profitable, it's working, and that makes sense to me. Now, the whole thing with the Microsoft versus the Xbox thing, you might have people on the financial side pushing, right, for Microsoft to take a little bit more risks and stuff like that. But I can't see that either, man. That's just not Microsoft's MO, right? They finally hit 3 trillion, but the way that they did it, man, they've taken some risk here and there. They kind of opened up here and there, but they're just not. They're not reckless. In other words, I've never seen them do stuff like that. Some stuff that's outside of the box that goes against the grain when it comes to them. Like I remember when the Surface Line was released for their stuff, that was so not Microsoft or what Microsoft. I'm an admin person, guys, so I do a lot of work in offices and stuff like that. And the transformation of Microsoft, right, as just that brand, right, into what it is now is totally different. But it's not. They don't do it like they don't just concoct anything and just throw it together and then just put it out there, right? They do a lot of planning and stuff like that. It's actually probably one of their Achilles heel, man. This is how Apple's able to do that. But there's a benefit there's a benefit to that, but there's also a negative to it, right? Being that way, right? So that's why, again, guys, I'm not trying to paint a pretty picture. I'm not trying to, blow smoke up anyone's ass or anything like that, guys. I'm just being honest. This is just my thinking taking over when all of this is said. Because I put aside all the other stuff, man. A lot of stuff you see people going through right now, dude. They're worried, they're fearful, they're scared. Especially if you participate in the console war, man, and maybe you feel like you've been talking trash, and if this doesn't go out the way that you thought it is, and then it comes back to boomerangs back. I'm not gonna have that problem because I say whatever I say, I mean it. Yeah. So that's revenue though, not profit. Oh yeah, granted, right? I mean, I just think the business model that they're coming out with, dude, is far more. The way that game is changing, dude, it's far more fluid, and that's what they need, fluidity. Now, again, if they're the bean counters, like the guys on the Microsoft side, the accounting side proper, yeah, necessarily, yeah, they probably be against that. But I think Satya would go and fill them because they all got promoted, dude. All these guys got promoted, and I'm pretty sure after 2 years of hanging with AKB, they're just not willy nilly like have a holiday season and they're like this didn't sell. I'm pretty sure they looked at all of that, dude. The meticulous effort that they put in to everything concerning AKB. You saw it in the testimonies that was given, the stuff that was the evidence that we saw, the evidence that we weren't supposed to see. Microsoft is only sitting back on their laurels. They looked at it from every angle, in my opinion, right? And that's what left Sony flat-footed, and that's what the judge was kind of like asking all those questions. Right? There's a lot of people hating on Sarah Bond. I mean, if you want to hate on Sarah Bond, you can hate all you want to, but I don't know that girl's been clutch. Just saying, in my opinion, dude. Everything I've seen her do, man, I've never seen everything she touches, dude. She like Midas, dude. Everything she touched thus far has turned to gold and then some. So she definitely gets my vote of confidence. Phil gets my vote of confidence, right? Dude, this dude has worked tirelessly, right, against all odds to bring the brand where it is now. Him and his team working together with us as gamers. I'm not saying that you can't be disappointed if things go south next week, right? I'm not saying that, right? But for again, I'm just giving you guys a peek into my mentality when it comes to all of this stuff, right? Again, it doesn't make sense to me. All of a sudden, man, we're just having one of the best years, as everybody says, right? 2023, one of Xbox's best years, right? AKB went through, you get a stellar showcase, man. You can tell Microsoft hits their stride when it comes to those things, right? Um, a bright 2024, an incredible roadmap. Then all of those things comes to a screeching halt because of what people um, propose or purport this all of this stuff to be. And I'm sorry. So my mind can't think that way, guys. I don't think in those terms. Gogo Toman says, hey, what's up? Yeah, I think that the Xbox dropped a lot of Satya's focus since the AI division became hot. Sometime since early 2023, they are super gung-ho on AI. I even see it at my work. Yeah, yeah. And I don't necessarily mean that's bad. In fact, I've been sharing on Twitter for a lot of the journalists out there, AI 2024. I'm in hashtag AI 2024 for all the journalists, man, because I think they're a waste of space. I'll be honest with you. Total waste of space, man. I mean, you get more. I think you'll get better, more accurate information from AI. But to me, Google, it's a tool. Like I could see them doing stuff in games with AI to help make this experience more immersive. Um, I'm not in the. I'm not saying this won't happen or could happen. I'm not in that boat though, where I think that AI is going to take over everything. Right. A lot of the ways AI is now, dude, it needs some management. And I think if people, especially creatives, utilize it as a tool, it can be a great weapon in their arsenal. In fact, there's a lot. Some that's why I don't like these writers, man. They were busted for using AI to write their articles, right? Which was ironic because that's why some of them got laid off because then the bosses used that, weaponized that against them. Dude, never give a company an opportunity to put you over profit because you lose every time, unless that company is really good or your boss is good. Shane Tillman says, "Hey." Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll skip through it. Yeah, Shane says, "Hey, back." Tillman, dude, thank you for being here, my brother. Always good to have you. You get to see the crew up in here, man. The dudes who bleed green. You know, but of course, if everything goes bad next week, I'm gonna sell my Xbox. Dude, that's that, and the reason it's a joke, guys, right? But the reason why I can joke about that and stuff like that because I talk about the ecosystem a lot on this channel, and for me, by looking at the ecosystem as much as I can, I've had that thought already. Like, what if something happens to Microsoft or Microsoft? My thought process was like, Microsoft is good now. Phil leaves, Sarah moves on to someplace else. They lose some of the people that are more people focused, more people friendly, more business friendly oriented, more games focused, stuff like that, more customer service focused. Say like all of these people go and you get a bunch of people that don't care, right? You're stuck in their ecosystem, dude. So that's why I'm not making light of it. I've just already thought about that, and it's something that I was willing to risk because of what I'm getting from Xbox that I've gotten over the last 3 years from their games and their services. So and then that's kind of how I am right now, especially on Twitter. I know some of the guys I think, oh, he's just trolling. I am. There is a part of me that trolls, right? Like I think next week, say Phil comes out and just totally, um, like again, he comes out and he says, "Hey, we have a partnership with PlayStation, with Nintendo. We want to welcome their first party games to Game Pass on the Xbox One." Like, what if something like that happens, right? That's what I'm saying. Like I've looked at this from so many different angles. It's not even fun. A little bit too much, man. Hey, Unlimited. Two man says, "Hey, what's up, Unlimited?" Let's go down. Anthony Chico. Cheers, Google Poll. If Sony got Game Pass, I'd be furious. I can't handle a few games a year later for $70. Yeah, and again, Shane, I don't know how that would work out. How that would be good for Sony, right? Unless Microsoft gives them a big split, which I don't see that happening, right? This is the whole thing with the AKB deal. Microsoft actually offered them a pretty decent deal. I know because a lot of us were like, no, don't give them nothing, right? I know I was one of those. So I don't see PlayStation doing that. And number one, just getting a percentage of the games going on game of the money going on Game Pass, right? Or worse yet, it takes away from the games that they make themselves. Or if they put the games in Game Pass, right? They're not gonna get. So my point is, they're not gonna get 100% profit. Now maybe they looked at the numbers and we're saying, well, maybe we can risk this or risk that. I don't see that happening, dude. And you know the ponies will be pissed, dude. I mean, if it's something that they can weaponize, I don't know how they would weaponize that, right? They'd have to. What are they gonna do with their own service? That's why, to me, it seems a lot more reasonable that Phil would announce that you're gonna get more PlayStation games on Game Pass, like how they get MLB The Show, right? So MLB The Show right now is, and it's been like the last 2 or 3 years, has been on Game Pass for Xbox guys to play without having to put money down. Whereas if you're on the Sony side, you have to pay. So after 3 years, and maybe Sony has got more people buying the game, and maybe it's more, I don't know. Maybe they see numbers that we don't see, and they like the results, and then they decide, well, what if we put this game in? Not like a game day and day, but you know how they're doing all these remasters and stuff like that, or they have older games. They start letting that come over to PlayStation, right? And then maybe they like whatever percentage they work out with Sony or whatever. I'm more prone to think in that terms than I am for Xbox to be putting a Game Pass. But I don't think Sony would do that, since Sony also has their own service. I wish they can't even get off the ground. I wish they can't even get their own games up on it. Right? Again, that's not even from a hate perspective. You guys know I don't like Sony. That's just me thinking I can't. That doesn't make sense to me. Again, and I keep on repeating myself, but that's just want to get everybody across the. That's my thought process. Agreed. They don't want the games. They just want to lord over Xbox gamers. They did the same against Sega. Just the internet wasn't as global and social media as it is. Yeah, dude. Like I said on Twitter Unlimited, I saw that in real time and it broke my heart, dude. Because there was a part of me that thought that okay, so Sega can kind of regroup and become the biggest publisher because that's what everybody was saying. They're going to be bigger than EA. They're going to be bigger than this with all their franchises, with all their teams, and all this stuff. And then what? Nobody was buying the games. PlayStation guys to prove themselves to me back then. They're not gamers, dude. That's what I've been saying for years. These guys don't game. Not like a gamer games. Not like a true gamer. They're not about that. And they're worse now, dude. They were bad back then. They're even worse now, dude. These guys are brand gamers. That's why I call them brand gamers. They're more infatuated with the Sony name and the Sony brand than they are than what Sony leaks, right? They have their fan base that buys stuff. Well, obviously, that is not enough. Unlimited, you said yourself, right? How the guy came on and said they can sell 100 million consoles. That's not gonna. That's not gonna help them. And that's one of the things I think that Phil might be trying to do is try to help them. Right? Phil's a nice guy, unfortunately, in this case. But yeah, that 100% facts unlimited. It's video games, not the civil rights. Xbox people kill me with the second-class citizen talk, like Microsoft is making them ride on the back of the bus. Yeah, I mean, I won't go that far, but I think they do owe it to Xbox guys too. And again, I'm not losing my mind because that's what Phil's going to do. I didn't think Phil was sitting there not wanting to explain stuff. I don't even think it was on his radar, to be honest with you, because all of this stuff, again, like you said, unlimited is coming from rumors. And I think that's what. Dude, if I was Phil, dude, I wouldn't have said nothing, dude. I'd let these people squirm. Number one, I mean, the real hateful people, and then more importantly, like I would let the PlayStation guys believe, like really, really buy into that they're getting it, and then when that day comes and it doesn't happen, that'd be worth it. That'd be worth all of this, dude. Because those dudes would their heads would explode, literally. I mean, the PlayStation guys don't buy their own games. They aren't buying any of Xbox except for COD. Yeah, true, true. That's the problem with the media that we have, right? The media is all up on Microsoft, good and bad. This week's they've been pushing the negative narrative and stuff like that. But there's a lot of stuff going on with Sony, and nobody's covering it. In fact, what I did was I put some negative stuff headlines for Sony. I had like one or two stories. The rest were all about Microsoft and what's going on because it sucks. Microsoft sucks up all the air. But this is why Sony's never held accountable, man, and why these guys continue to experience shock and awe when things go south for them, right, with their own console. when news like what drops out about Spider-Man happens, right? About the cost that it takes to make that game, and that they're not recouping cost. Gogo. Growing up in the 80s, 90s, we did not have a Sony Walkman. Exactly, Gogo. I was one of those. I was one of the first people I knew of that bought the CD because I had my CDs with me everywhere. I used to ride the bus and walk a lot. So I got the first Sony CD with the not the first device, but when it first came out, they had that the diskette protection. Dude, I had that. Dude, I was loving it, man. That was awesome too. You could walk anywhere. You could ride any bus. You could be, dude, the things would be bouncing all over the place. Your stuff would be fine. You don't have to have dropped it or something like that for it to even skip. They just built so much great electronics back then. Yeah, dude, I feel you, man. I like Tim Dog. He goes to the front all the time, taking on annoying ponies on Twitter. Super aggressive. Hello. Yeah, yeah, Tim. I mean, look. I mean, like I said, we'll give him his day, right? I mean, this dude has been putting in, and like I said earlier, he's lasted longer than most of these guys, man. All these other dudes they just fell away, like the chaff with the wheat, man. They just fell to the side. But Tim's still here, man. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. It's not surprising he feels very hurt about the news. I kind of hate the idea of Starfield on PS5. Yeah, yeah. I mean, right. We'll see. They specifically said. So, okay. So Aaron Greenberg said this. Phil said that in all circumstances, right? Starfield specifically, they said is exclusive. Sarah said it on the reveal, right? So they said that specifically. For me, if it's something that they're gonna go back on, this is the kind of stuff to me that Phil would step down, or Phil would be let go, right? Like they would be going in a different direction. Right? That's the way I kind of look at it. Again, I could be proven wrong with the announcement next week, but that's how I feel. Something like that. You some of the stuff that people are saying, man, those are that would warrant a leadership change as it goes, and it's antithetical to what they've been doing and their roadmap thus far. What they've been doing thus far and their roadmap as it stands right now, right? Because their roadmap indicates they're all about the content, and the reason they're all about the content because they're going full speed ahead with Game Pass. So again, that's why I don't believe. Unlimited. I agree. The console warrant has made some people get really emotional. I get it, but really, the world has far worse problems right now. Yeah, good point. That's another thing as well. That's what kind of keeps me sane. Like I said in the podcast Saturday, guys, I have my fingers on all kind of different pulses, man. Right, and I've had to do that over time, man, just because of the way pop culture has been in general, and not just because of my age. I mean, I'm old school. Things change, things are in flux, especially in our modern era and stuff like that. So, you plan accordingly. But for me, one of the things I do is I like a lot. I have a lot of interest. Again, this is why I like Game Pass. If I play a game and it's not to my liking, I'll just don't jump on something that I've been playing that I know I like, or look forward to other games that are coming down the pike. Dude, I have so many games just sitting on my queue right now that I could be playing. I'm never going to be a loss for games, right? Even after, say, like Microsoft comes out next week and says we're done with consoles or whatever that everybody's worried about. I still have my current system and I still have a bunch of games I can play. Right? I do that right now with television, guys. Dude, there's nothing good on television that compels me to watch it. Right? I think the last good thing I was Tulsa King with Stallone, and oh yeah, and then I did start watching Reacher. Right? But I bought a lot of stuff. I have it on DVD, but now I've been buying the digital versions of it, right? Because you can get seasons super cheap. I can just go back and watch Stargate Atlantis over again. Magnum PI, I own that. I bought Family Matters, the entire season, or the entire series. Love that show. I could basically just live in my past. I just keep on collecting. Bought a bunch of other stuff. Like I have all the Justice Leagues, right? Justice League just did an 11 episode. We have all the Superman. We have all the Batman Beyond, I believe. I have all Smallville. Like there's a lot of stuff that I watch, um, that I can go back to. Man, I don't need to participate in the ecosystem because hat tip to Zobi. He's been one of the gamers talking about this the most, and it's something I do agree with him on. A lot of this stuff is about this whole digital stuff is about power and control. Right, you will own nothing is what I say. So you gotta conduct yourself accordingly. That's what I'm doing, guys. So if stuff goes south in gaming, dude, I'm watching K dramas. Right? If I run out of watching K dramas, which is hard now because they're just constantly deluging it, right? Because it's so popular, right? Then I'll go read one of the many books that I haven't finished. Or go look at my old stack of comics, right? There's a bunch of trade paperbacks my daughter had that I haven't read. I could do that. There's always something for me to do, dude. Just jump back on Game Pass, right? I just rotate. It's that easy for me. So I recommend for a lot of people, man, if you want to stay sane, that can help, right? And you'll enjoy it, dude. Trust me. Hey, what's up, realists? If the rumors are true, Xbox will learn that the only game they're willing to buy is Call of Duty. The rest without mainstream names will flop. Yeah, yeah. And that's why they don't need to do it, right? Because, you know, they own Call of Duty. So they don't have to, like a lot of people are trying to explain that about, you know, keeping Call of Duty multi this and that and won't go to Game Pass, whatever, dude. They own it. They're gonna get all that money. With a percentage out to other people, but the majority of that money's coming to Microsoft. Which is why they bought it, dude. This is why I don't understand why people think what they're thinking right now. To go through 2 years of that stuff and then totally upend your entire game. Plus, I don't like any of the people talking about this stuff. So that's easy for me. Dude, these guys have been wrong so much, and even more of them came out of the woodwork today, right? Right? You know, these are the guys that, you know, they're like the groundhogs. They stick your head up, make sure the coast is clear. Oh, things are really bad, then I'll run with my video. I won't mention, I'll be nice, I won't mention any names, but I saw them in full force. One dude, I haven't seen in forever, man. Right? And now all of a sudden he started talking about Xbox. I'm like, dude, where you been, man? Nobody cares. You are irrelevant now. Yeah, but thanks for being here, realist. I have an upper 30 characters in Power World, making bases to make ammo. Oh, good, dude. I'm not even close to that. You know, I spend a lot of time collecting stuff too, and I'm exploring the map. Um, but I know I need to, man, because I play like sometimes you come across characters, dude, you get in a bad way, or you won't be able to match up really good with these guys. But it's all fun, man. I just love the exploring and the crafting and stuff like that. Dude. It's a really cool game. I think a lot of people, if they stick with it, I mean, if you get past the initial stuff and start unlocking stuff, some of the complaints I heard about the game, you'll like it more. Yeah, maybe I'll do that this week. I don't know if I have the time to because I want to play something. I want to play Persona this week. Gogo says, "What's up, realist?" Oh, you guys going back and forth. Level 36 is still no good. Yeah, dude. I mean, I see it unlocked for me, realist. With one of my characters, I just haven't gone that route because I'm trying to level up. I got a cat character that I've been leveling up, dude. He's pretty cool. Like he comes and helps me on stuff. He's a cool character, man. I mean, I have better, stronger ones that I could level up, but I stick with him. That's my boy. Then I got a couple of fallback pals that I use when I'm out in the world. Two of them are shock type characters. Then I got the boar. I like to ride him. He's pretty cool. Man, they're irritating though when you're out in the wild. Dude, they'll come and attack you. I mean, I got my bow and stuff now, dude. I'm a lot more stronger, so it's easier to take them out. But you know what I mean? But it's fun to ride them, dude. Once I got that saddle, I was having a blast. I wish they were faster. Real says, what up, Paul? I agree. No ponies are buying most of these games except COD and Minecraft. Yeah, they won't. You know, they're trying to appeal to the normies, and I've said this before on my channel. It's like to me, what you do is you just wait for them to come over, right? Let them get in because you see that happening little by little, man. These guys buy a system, and then they realize, oh wow, this system's not as bad as they say, or this system's actually pretty good. And then you start playing the games. Goes, oh, I like this game. You know what I mean? That takes time, and it's been happening for Microsoft again, not on the level maybe some of these guys want, but that's what I would do. I'd roll those dice because like I said, I'm a Sega fanboy that experienced that back in the day, so I know how these dudes are. Like there'll be some of these, like you see some of these dudes on Twitter now coming out, jumping, the bandwagon guys. I almost named one person's name, but she's irritating. But she'll come out now that it's all kicking off. She'll get in there to get her bars in and stuff like that. Like people like that. That's the people that will eventually come over because they'll have to. And that's my point with Microsoft. I was like, dude, just destroy Sony, and everybody has no choice but to come over. I know that doesn't sound cool. I know that sounds kind of wicked and mean, but we all see how Sony is, so I don't care. That's what they should do. They nobody will have a choice, right? And then over time, people will forget, and then they'll come over, and then you got a new generation of people coming up. You want to be that generational system. You want to be that generational brand, right? So man, I'm so tired of all these guys in the community that have sources and have been hearing stuff in the background from their people. Cloud chasing idiots, all of them, only seeking money from people. Yeah, you know what though? There's actual people too, man. We know a couple of them, right? That they actually believe this stuff, and they go out there. They're worse. At least the cloud chasers are trying to get something out of it. These dudes are just weak. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't like some of the people are saying so and so said this. I was like, oh yeah, I don't listen to him anymore. Or so and so said that. I was like, I don't even know who that is because I don't follow. I don't occupy those spaces anymore. I don't follow in those circles. It was fun in the beginning, but hold on one second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. It was fun in the beginning, right? When there's more camaraderie, especially, and everybody everybody was tight and fighting a good fight. But that those days are long gone. Yeah, I agree, Toman, man. There's no sense in listening to any of these guys. They're not gonna. They're not worth listening to. If I'm being honest. If the realest one, if Xbox could get subs without paying for third party day one, that's a different story. Yeah, but I think they can eventually. They will. I think that was the purpose for me anyway. That the thought of why they're buying all the studios, they're gonna have that balance, right? Because they're doing very well with the ID at Xbox program. Again, this is why I don't believe this is going to happen, right? Because they would kind of cut themselves off at the knees, right? If they did that, because they make deals with these third party people. And I just think it's good for gaming overall because you're adding variety, right? You're allowing people to be creative. For me, it's a win-win, especially as a gamer like myself. I consider myself a gamer because I like games and I like to play games and I like variety of games. Now, if I have the money or the time, that's the other thing, mostly on the time side, right? But again, this is like Microsoft. If you look at their game plan, they've covered all their bases when it comes to this, right? And then you just let the subscription count grow and keep on growing. Dude, a lot of people forget Netflix that it didn't happen for them overnight, dude. All we're waiting for is Microsoft to get that one beat. Right? It'll happen in stages, and then there'll be that one, that kind of like a monumental moment, right? That'll happen, and when that happens, boom, then you build off of that. Then the next one happens, boom, you build off of that. It took years for Netflix to get where it is, and Netflix, dude, I hated it when it first came out. I told them straight up, I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't work. It's horrible. Google Post. Something is happening behind the scenes, especially when we hear the Sony exec talk of putting games everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, Google. Straight talk. I'm not trying to be trolled or anything like that. I think it'll be an awesome troll if Phil comes out and says something like that. Right? To me, dude, if any two companies are in trouble, it's Nintendo and Sony. I don't know why people don't see that. I mean, I kind of know why they're blinded. Someone don't want to deal with that reality. But if there's any company that's going to go third party, it's Sony. Look at their event, man, and the games that they showed. I'm not saying that they're bad. Honestly, I don't care. Right, but just the sheer number and the lack of buzz and some of the stuff that they're coming out with, I think most of that stuff is multi-platform too, right? Dude, they just look anemic, man. To me, they're always that way. I mean, they weren't. They had better quality, before, but they were always like this, dude. Because a lot of the times, dude, these games they'll show the game, but it doesn't come out in a long time. It's kind of like Nintendo, but Nintendo, everybody expects that from them, so that's why you can't hate on them for that. It's going to take 20 years for the next Zelda game to come out, but everybody they just wait, right? And then they just play all their other games, right? I mean, the fact that everybody's worried about Microsoft, who just crossed the $3 trillion mark, and then complaining about it, right? I Yeah, that's not how my brain works anyway. Toman says, "What's up, realist? Xbox is killing consoles," is what I think. It seems like no matter how good the offering is, people aren't buying enough Xboxes. I don't think people are buying enough consoles in general. Realist. I don't believe the amount of consoles that Sony is selling. And even if they were selling that much, they're not. Their software is not selling on that level. Like for me, dude, all I tell people is just go down to McDonald's and see how much a combo costs. Right? That's that's the state of the economy right now. Right. So of course, all of this stuff's going to get affected across the board. I went and bought lettuce, 2 tomatoes, 2 packs of cheese, 1 pepper jack, 1 Swiss, the small ones, and then something else, dude. $29 at my store. Oh yeah, and then some sauce that I could soak chicken in, which is $5. And then I bought ice cream for my kids because it was on sale, $5. But that all added up to $29. Would have been 50 or $50 if it wasn't for the I have a club card, and then they had that stuff on discount. The stuff I told you. That's the reality of the economy, man. But since you guys don't hear about this in the mainstream media, it bleeds over into the gaming media because they don't know what's going on either. Dude, they don't even know anything about video games, let alone what's going on in the world. Right? That's why, again, on my Twitter, guys, I was sharing everything that's going on in China. Not to hate on China or anything like that. They're dealing with economic crisis in that country, dude. Like I said on Saturday, dude, they're gonna have a lost generation. Right? Their whole system is falling apart. Right? It's falling apart at the seams. And I don't know how they're gonna stop that. So when I see that, and then I see people talking about 1,900 people getting let go at what is it? Not Bethesda. Guys who make up Blizzard. And I see 1,900, and I just watched a video where hundreds of thousands of people showing up at the factory's closed. Right? Companies move out in one day. While the people are there working, no job for tomorrow. Right? And if you guys didn't, and this isn't a manufacturing sector, dude. That's how China's been able to amass a lot of the wealth they have. Now, unfortunately, nobody got the memo that they're communists, which is going to mess everything up, right? But that's what they're experiencing right now. And then I come to the Xbox side. I say, oh, that's what's going on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, can you believe? And in the news, Microsoft. Now, the news, depending. If it's the business side, I understand that because you got to cover that stuff. Right, but then you have all these people. They 1,900. Even some of the guys I follow on the pop culture side are talking about that stuff. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, 22,000 employees, 1,900 of which got let go. That's pretty good, dude. Because there's companies laying off. Like you have 19,000 new employees, dude, or 22,000 new employees, right? And then you lose like 10,000 of those employees. That's what's happening in other industries at other companies. Realist says, "What's up, Tool Man?" Sorry, guys, I'll try and catch up. I'm going off on a tangent. I think we are now in a gen where in past gens, people were fine having 2 consoles, but seems people are more adamant having 1 console and PC. I think, and I just see this with my kids. I mean, there's a generation of people that are growing up on PC. Right? I see that. So of course that's going to affect the console market in a sense, right? We're kind of old school. And I saw that with comic books. One time I was in there, and it's for to Unlimited. This will make Unlimited happy, man. It was when it was an Infinite Crisis was in full swing, man. That series was. I'm a Marvel guy, guys, and then my friend was telling me about it. I went with him, and I picked up my copies, dude, and I was hooked. Dude, I bought every single one of those issues, man. But the one thing I did notice when I was there, when I was looking around me, dude, there was no kids. It was all guys my age, and I was in my 30s back then. Or going into my 30s, I think late 20s, going into my 30s. And I looked at that, and I'm like, I looked at my friend, I was like, dude. And my friend was younger than me at that time. I was like, dude, I was worried about comic books back then because there's no new blood coming in, right? So yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think right now too, it's just a bad economy, guys. Honestly, dude, if the economy gets better, however, whatever way it can, like if people had more disposable income, Microsoft would be in a better position. Because even though Game Pass is a good value, it's unbeatable, right? And I think a lot of people would subscribe to it. The problem is that you see people right now questioning their Netflix accounts, questioning their Paramount accounts, questioning going out to movies because they don't want to have to pay for the popcorn, questioning ordering from Uber because now or at least where I live, dude, they just put they put the tip on there, but instead of the 5, 7, or 10%, they go straight up to 15%, 15, 20, 25. Because what you're doing is you're supplementing that driver's income, right? Because the people can't pay them the top dollar because the businesses have costs. That's what's the economy is going on right now in the economy, right? So you would think with the value that you're getting for Xbox, and they still be able to keep it at a reasonable price, a more than reasonable price, where people still say that they're getting stuff for free in Game Pass, which they're not. They're paying for it. right? You're living. Unfortunately, we're living in a time where people, every little penny, people are pitching pennies. Every little bit counts. That's my point is. So yeah, I don't disagree with you, Google. People don't buy enough games either. I've been saying that for years. That success is top heavy industry. Dude, that was all the way back to the PlayStation times. And I'll say that because when PlayStation came in, like I would say, they got that free market thing going on, or not free market, free agency thing. So there's a lot of the companies after a while they were closing up shop because they weren't selling enough games. Because people were playing games, right? And playing games, they first became acceptable and then they became popular, right? If you guys remember how people used to look down on that. But the more people were playing, they didn't become gamers like me, right? Like most of us will own like like if you look at somebody like Sega Man, right? Sega Man has what hundreds or thousands he has a ton of games. And that's how he buys, that's how he plays. Now did he pay full price for all those games? Maybe not. Right? But a lot of us growing up at that time, we paid the full price for this stuff. Maybe you get it on sale. Right? But even now, dude, you see how fast games drop? And I understand the basics of that too, what they're trying to go for. Right? You hit first. It's like how guys try and get their people in the movies. That's why it's important that you get a heavy first weekend. So when the game releases, you want the fans and everybody that's going to buy that to support the game. Right? And then over time, they'll drop the price and then other people come in. You're still making some money in it, right? This is why Game Pass is again, I don't think it's just disrupting the industry, right? Because it's a constant cash flow for Microsoft, right? Just like how Netflix has a constant cash flow. And if they can get that to a certain subscriber amount and then own the majority of the content in there, they'll be at a point where Netflix had to get to. Because even Netflix realized that, right? Because what happened was they would get this stuff just for content from like the studios and stuff. The studios like, oh yeah, we put on this, we put on DVD. You know what I mean? We already have it out there. Here, just pay us this and we have it. Then they put it on there, right? And then once it became popular, right? Then over time, Netflix started making money, but it wasn't their content. Then when they go back to the studio, like maybe the contract was for a couple of years, then they go to re-up, right? And then the studios be like, oh, now we want this much because we see how much money you making. Which isn't, we're not fair, right? I mean, they're drawing people to watch the content and stuff like that, but it's not the only reason why Netflix is making that kind of money, right? I ain't gonna lie, guys. I want to shoot these birds so bad. I can't stand these birds. But we have strict gun laws here in Hawaii. But that's the thought process, right? That was the thought process for Microsoft. So at least they learned that much, right? They need the content, which is why they got out of the studios. And then the content drives the subscription, right? And then the engagement can drive the subscription. The engagement can drive not just numbers, man, but money as well, dude. Because a lot of these games, right, you're buying stuff in game. So if everybody's in your ecosystem, right, then you have a lock on it. And that's what I said a couple of podcasts ago. What happens is you get such a big subscriber base, dude, that these publishers will not be able to ignore you because they're ignoring a big chunk of an audience that they could be making money off of. If that makes sense. It's unfortunate Netflix had to go the long route, but at least Microsoft can benefit from that. They got new jobs and they fall in line. Yeah. Yep. I mean, again, I know it's not. I've been there myself, man. It's not good. Yeah, I mean, moments of that. I remember one time I was unemployed for a year and a half, dude. It was hard for me to get a job. That sucked, dude. Never want to go through that again. Unlimited production. Timing reason for being upset is stupid. Oh, Tim? Is that Tim's reason for being upset is stupid? He's mad someone at Microsoft didn't give him. Yeah, that's another thing. He doesn't work at Microsoft. Why the hell would he be entitled to a heads up? Yeah, and there could be many reasons, right? Because he's not in the know, right? Or maybe there's some legal ramifications if they let him know in his slips. Like, I don't think anybody at Microsoft is talking to any of these people, to be honest with you. Again, the fact that Phil Spencer was playing Diablo when all this was going on, that blew my mind, dude. Respect it. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, some people are mad about that. I thought that's a boss move. And maybe the reason why is because maybe he heard it and didn't think anything of it. Because only he knows what's really going on. And again, he's the head for Microsoft Gaming, right? A lot of these guys got promoted, dude, putting these plans into work. putting them into place, and then going to be handling every aspect of it. So great. Thanks for putting that on Limited. I did see that he was upset. Yeah, the game market is very top heavy now, even more so than it was in the past. Which I mean can be good and get bad, right, Global? I mean, for somebody like me who's a gamer, it's great to have variety. It's great to have options. Again, and that's why I will see all the time, man. Game Pass is a litmus test for gaming and gamers and gaming, right? Because it's really indicating like where we are in gaming as a whole. Because I again, I saw this in the PlayStation days when all these studios shut down. Ask Ebot, he knows. Ebot could do like an hour video just on that alone. He was there. He understood. He knows. He's talked about it. Because back then, guys, I just didn't play the games. I used to follow the people that made the games. That was the difference. It's like being a comic book guy. I just didn't follow the characters. There were specific artists, writers, inkers, colorists, right? The dudes who did the lettering, all that stuff, dude. You get to know the people. It's one of the reasons I like Marvel a lot, dude, because they were like a family environment. You know, the fandom was tight too. Again, and for a lot of people sitting up there like touting how awesome Marvel is, man. Now, when I was coming up, dude, they were awesome for me, but they were not top dog. It took them a little while to get up there, and to their credit, man, they worked hard to get up there, right? But that's the real reason that I like Marvel. I like the stories, the characters. They're very story driven. It's just like how I consume my content now, guys. When it comes to television, you know, watch a lot of dramas, a lot of action. The martial arts scene is off the charts now for some of the studios that are out there making stuff that's a throwback to the stuff I grew up with, but also modernizing it and making it awesome. Right. So that's what I mean. It's just like I get an opportunity to like when stuff goes kind of salty in one area. That's what I did with Disney Marvel and Disney Star Wars, dude. I just stopped watching stuff. I just shifted over to anime or just started playing Game Pass, enjoying the stuff in Xbox until this week, of course. You know, that's what I do. But agree, it is top heavy. But you know, it's again, this is something for them too, man. Because look, dude, I'm just gonna be honest with you, dude. A lot of these dudes, for various reasons. Anyway, we won't go down that road because I'll get off track. Yeah, Unlimited. I figured. I knew what you meant. One second, guys.
Or I mean, like an hour ago.
Okay, hold 1 second, guys. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, guys. So what you guys think Phil will say next week? I'm guessing a tier of games going to PlayStation and Switch, move to third party, but I think Xbox will be getting some games too, likely from Sony. Yeah, that's a good. Okay. If you guys want to answer the commentary, I'll go down the chat. I've already kind of said what I think it's going to happen. I don't know why they would do that. Honestly, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just, like I said on Saturday, my reasoning behind it. I wouldn't do it, especially after some of the stuff they said. It would be a very bad look, and I would hate to be both Sarah and Phil. I mean, I won't partake in it, right? But I would hate to be them because they're gonna get destroyed. If they do that, they should just turn off their social media accounts. I'm being honest, because people will destroy them, and I'm not necessarily saying the Xbox side. They're gonna see it in full force, man. These ponies will come out in packs, then there will be rabid. These dudes will come out and they'll be hunting for everything. It's gonna be. That's my advice to them. I'm not discounting what you're saying, possibly, Cole. Again, I'm just going back on what I feel. Honestly, all of us console warriors should be upset if these rumors are true. Um, yeah, like I said, I have in my mind what I'm going to do, realist, as far as this is concerned. And I've kind of spilled the beans a little bit by talking about the way I handle um stuff that I participate in, especially in the pop culture realm. I tend to like if something goes north, like again with Disney. So Disney Marvel, like my son wanted to go watch Shang-Chi and my kids wanted to go watch Doctor Strange. And so I went to go watch it with them. But if they didn't want to go watch it, I didn't go. I wasn't gonna go. I haven't watched any of the Disney Plus shows since WandaVision. I totally was off on. I was had a lot. I had more hope for Star Wars because John Favreau got involved with the property and he did Mandalorian, which I liked, and I could see them like making a turn. But it's kind of like what everybody's kind of saying about the Xbox versus the um, Microsoft side. There was a huge civil war going on in Disney Star Wars. Like it was bad, but entertaining though. Like, my joke on social media was that I had more fun watching that drama than the actual shows that Marvel put out. Marvel and Star Wars was putting out. There was much more interesting watching all the drama unfold. But it was brutal, man. There was sides being drawn and people was going, man, they was going for the jugular. There was betrayals. Dude, it was like a Shakespearean play, man. Again, that was more interesting than anything that they produced outside of Mandalorian. I like Mandalorian, but yeah, that third season was kind of hard for some of the fans. So once that kind of happened, dude, I've moved on, right? And then because I can, dude, because there's a ton of shows on Netflix that I have not watched. There's a couple movies I went and read and purchased. Um, I got Cobra Kai, for example. Cobra Kai's new season, they're starting to promote that. But there's a constant influx, and that's another thing that these guys don't realize when they make these kind of decisions. Their thought process sometimes I don't think they know what the consumer wants or how the consumer their behaviors are, right? Because you don't have to participate in any of this, right? Again, you won't die if you won't have any of this stuff, right? It's not like breathing air or eating food, or even putting a roof over your head. Right? This is the level of which it is, and people are having to make tough choices, right? And so they don't understand that they're not the most important thing in the world. So when you try and leverage your brand, right, you got to kind of keep that in mind. Unless you have it locked in, like with Microsoft, right? They have Windows, and I know everybody's been saying about that being surpassed, but this is what Microsoft is known for. So unless you have your audience locked in, like no choice, or that you dominate this particular sector, yeah, of course, right? You can. But doing what they're doing, or the thought of them doing what like you're saying, if all these rumors are true, man, to me, they shoot themselves in the foot with that. They are poised right now. They could take over the gaming industry. They could always have taken over the gaming industry, but with all the moves that they've made, I don't see no bigger time. But now, like it's prone, it's ripe, dude. These guys have it, but who knows? Cool. Yeah, realist. I agree. I am pissed, but I'm too old to care that much. Knowing what's happening in the world is yeah. Good point, Gogo. Gogo said, "Yeah, realist. I agree. I am pissed, but I'm too old to care that much. Knowing what's happening in the world these days, yeah. Like who knows, man? World War III might be tomorrow. Everybody might get drafted. Shoot, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and recall my old ass into the military. They're hurting that much for people. Yeah, that's a good point, Gogo. Like I was saying earlier with the financial stuff I've been sharing, right? Just the perspective. And I'm the same way. I'm just old. Period. Right? If I was younger, probably be worrying, probably be more upset. Maybe I'd be losing my mind like some of these dudes, right? But a little older, a little wiser, a little bit more seasoned, right? And when you've experienced stuff again, this is not my first rodeo, guys. Like this happened with Sega back in the day, right? We saw what happened with 2013. This has become, we've been through the fire, man. We've been baptized by fire with a lot of this stuff. So yeah, thanks for saying that, Go. That's a great comment. I think Phil will be stepping down though soon. Yeah, I think that's the thing though. I don't see that happening. So that's why I'm kind of more positive. But if like Realist says this stuff goes through, I could see Phil stepping down because it won't be good, dude. It just won't be good for the optics of it for him personally, for him and for Sarah, dude. I mean, these guys will get thrown under the bus basically, right? Because they committed, they committed things to people and their fan base especially. So I think the Xbox guys will be pissed. They'll get some blowback from the Xbox guys. But the thing that's really going to hurt them is the real thing that's really going to happen is when they start getting the hate from the PlayStation guys, because these dudes are going to be celebrating. And I can say that because I would have done the same thing if the roles was reversed. I ain't gonna lie, I am that petty. So I don't think he's going to say much. Well, I mean, I think you should say a little bit more. You should lay out the game plan and give everybody an idea and come on and just say it. That's what he needs to do. I can't see Phil as the face of multiplayer Xbox. Yeah. Well, I can see Xbox as the face of multiplayer Xbox. What they'll probably do is rebrand it to Microsoft Games. That's probably be the best thing to do because there is no Xbox, right? I mean, we still have the consoles. They said they're making consoles, right? But when people think Xbox, and this is not me hating, guys. I'm just being honest. When people think Xbox, they think of it's Xbox, it's box, right? It's the console. That's what people think of. But I mean, Microsoft's done that multiple times with rebranding, so I can see it going to Microsoft Games. If that were the case, which I don't think it is, my personal opinion. Or repeat a power on. Oh my gosh, you had to say that, huh? Realist. Realist always has a repeat of power on. But it could be in a good way, man. We don't know, right? We don't know yet. I choose to stay positive. After next week, we see if I choose violence. Yeah, that's an awesome quote. That's an awesome post, bro. Execs not understand the fragility of the gaming market. Yeah, especially if it is coming from the Microsoft guy side and it's the people that are being rumored. You know, they're just probably looking at their bottom line. You know, cut off their nose to spite their face kind of situation. And that's been happening. Like I said, it's been happening in pop culture nonstop. So it's been bad. Now, a lot of these guys don't need to be making these decisions, but they are. Coca-Cola. Yes, it's more fragile than I think most don't realize. Yeah, I've felt it for the longest time, dude. That's why I was really impressed with Microsoft when it came to ID at Xbox, right? Because they pushed that, and I think it was great that they pushed that. I think gaming benefited greatly from having that, because now you see a lot of the indie guys go to 1A, 2A, some of the 3 AAA big studios that took a chance on little 2As and stuff like that. That's what I was ultimately hoping for that type of synergy in gaming. And granted, dude, look, I'll be honest, dude. That's where I like to. That's the type of synergy I like. That's where I like to occupy in my space. But you know, hopefully that's still the plan. We'll see. People just don't care really, which is why it's more fragile than ever. Well, yeah, that's what I mean with gaming. To me, seems still very niche, right? The people that I consider gamers the people who call themselves gamers to me are not gamers. And I'm not being negative about it, but I'm just being honest, right? It's just like, it's just like when you see somebody who runs for political office, but they don't like the country, right? Or their ideals of what they think, or like a business, right? Or like going to work, right? It's just, there's a difference between somebody who likes to go to work and actually like their job and somebody who goes to work just to get a paycheck. That's how I look at most gamers now. They don't enjoy gaming. Right? And usually for most people that participate in gaming, it's usually attached to something, either social media or a part of their, selling themselves, right? Trying to put themselves over, stuff like that. It's not just for the love of gaming, like how we grew up, which is sad because you can't. And I think that's going to be a generational thing. I don't know if we can get that back. So that's another reason why I was hardcore on Game Pass as well, because I'm sure there's people out there, you can convert people to it, right? But you just got to get the content out there. You got to get people to try it. And that was one of the powers of Game Pass, in my opinion. I hate the idea of any Xbox game on PS5. I just don't get how a fan base that shut on every single thing Xbox does are rewarded with Xbox games that aren't going to play. Yeah, that they aren't going to play. Yep, 100% unlimited. Now, there'll be a couple people, like I said, there's a couple people I saw online that kind of play that middle of the road. They're the kind of people that says the console war is ridiculous, and then they say something about Xbox and participate in the console war. Those losers. And I'm brutal too. Some of them are chicks, man. I got, dude, they say something off, I tell them off, dude. I'm like, dude, you ain't special. I'll put you in your place just like with anybody else. Right? Those are those kind of people. Maybe they'll buy the game because they're on PS5 anyway, but they only know PS5, right? And then that's a thing win for them. But these people do not keep they don't pay the bills, man. They don't keep the lights on. They're so fly by night, dude. Xbox right now has a core of gamers, dude, that participates in their ecosystem and buys stuff. And I'm one of them. What's the sense of having a million people, but only 100 of them, or even 1,000, maybe even 1,000 of them, maybe they participate, right? But what's the sense of having that, right? When you have, where you can have less people, maybe like 500,000, but 400,000 participate, right? That's like, I'm participate. I mean, play the games, right? Talk about it, the buzz we generate, right? The excitement we have, the way we defend the brand, right? When they're trying to destroy it, all of that stuff, dude. Calling out Ryan McCaffrey, dude. Ryan McCaffrey, dude, had one of the most irritating, irritating posts today, man. Like he was saying, saying something about Xbox and the way they're handling this, and then how does it help stuff. I'm like, dude, you're in the media, dude. You guys are the worst culprits to drum up fake news, fake gaming news, and to try and bring Xbox down, dude. That's you guys. Dude, they're just like spoiled, right? That's what Unlimited, you guys are saying, right? They released the ending. I didn't know that was the ending that they were showing. I just thought it was a scene in the game. Right? That's how bitter they were that they didn't get a thing, that they did something like that. These people have no morals, dude. That's why I don't feel sorry for these guys, man. They need to go away. Seriously. LOL, I hate it too. The realist. If this is true, it'll be a display of impatience. They didn't give them time to build with a full arsenal. Yeah, and that's the problem with when you have a company like Microsoft. And I know I've talked about this on other videos. You come to the realization that Microsoft is a business first type of company. Now, I will say that they've done things a little bit differently, and it would. I was more positive again, and until Phil says something, I continue to be that way because of the way Satya is and the way that they leveraged their brand, and the way that they got to the point where they are now by taking calculated risks, right? By looking at things thoroughly, right? And then sometimes just taking a dive when they needed to. Right? But then at the end of the day, again, right? I'm surprised it's happening now, right? This is why I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because Phil's there. But like if like I said earlier, if Phil and these guys left and you just brought in people that just want to make money, this is what you get. This is what you get when you have a corporation like Microsoft, right? And Disney did the same thing with their brands. Well, that's a little bit different. They went woke, but still kind of the same feel. I've been watching season 4 of True Detective. Not bad. Oh, okay. I've heard about it. Go. I've never watched it. I'm kind of watching. What's the show I'm watching? Oh yeah, Reacher. And I know there's only a couple seasons, and I think I have the last couple episodes. But man, I mean, when people tell you something is good, and then you watch it, and it's way better than you thought as well. Like not only were they right, but it's way better than what you expected. But that dude, the dude who plays Reacher, man, if you guys didn't know, he was in Smallville back in the day. Number one, I didn't know he was that tall, and that dude is jacked, man. In Smallville, he was like he played Aquaman, or he played Arthur, Aquaman's identity. He didn't go full Aquaman, though. They did this one scene where he looked like he was wearing he was wearing the green bottoms and the orange top. But that's like a Canes color, Miami Hurricanes color, right? So that's what Smallville did, right? They wouldn't go full, Justice League with this kind of stuff, right? Like because it was about Clark being in Smallville. But then he had a guest appearance where he was on the swim team or something like that. I think he fell in love with Lana, something like that. But I didn't know he was this tall, dude. And Richard, that dude is jacked. I was like, dang, dude, this dude is massive. It's impressive, actually. But the show itself is awesome, too. And it's because of that. Like, some people say, oh, it's because of his size. I'm like, not just his size, but the size. When he does things in the show that he does, it's believable, man, just because he has the appearance that he can pull it off. That's a lot of stuff that's missing in shows nowadays, right? They just think they can snap some choreography together, right? And then they're like, okay, just it looks good. I'm like, dude, you gotta make me suspend disbelief, dude. Don't be lazy. Go that extra mile, dude. So to me, successful shows like that, they go that extra mile, or they understand their audience. Good series. A realist says, good series. Go. Thing is, there are some decisions that releasing the excuse me. Thing is, there are some decisions like releasing big exclusive games on PlayStation. You can't go back on it, and people will expect it as part of the deal going forward. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they felt that way. Once you go beyond that. Now, unless Microsoft pulls the rug from under them too, But yeah, 100% agree with you, Rahul. That's why they shouldn't do it. Realist, honestly, I can't understand why they give another reason not to buy an Xbox. I doubt big titles are going, but they shouldn't put anything over there. Yeah, I agree. They should keep it within the ecosystem. That's what they've been pushing. And again, that's why I'm a little bit more positive than most with what Phil's going to say next week. I don't see it happening because it doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't know what kind of numbers they would run to get it to that point. Again, the only thing I could see them doing it is to get their stuff over there, and it overtakes. Like the people like the game so much that they buy it there, but then they start gravitating towards Xbox. I don't know. I would not roll the dice on that because we all know how ponies are. As Unlimited was saying earlier, man, these dudes don't buy their own games. They don't play their games. I guarantee you, a lot of the people who bought some of these games that they claim to love, they haven't even finished it, nor close to being finished. The realist, unless they really do want people on PC, but Steam rules there. Maybe they'll announce they're buying Steam. That's something I've been saying on my podcast and on social media. People are like, you're crazy. I say, dude, again, after AKB, to me, nothing's off the table. Yeah, it might seem crazy to most people, but I'm like, I don't care. Why not? They have the money. It does sound cool. Sony tried to kill them. Yeah. Again, this is why I'm choosing to remain positive. Because again, like Unlimited was saying, Unlimited talked about this in the podcast. Dude. All this stuff is based on rumors, man. Nothing's set in stone. And a lot of these insiders or so-called insiders or people doing videos of breaking news, they're always wrong, dude. I've never known any of these guys to be right about anything. Or if they're right about anything, it's just something that me and you probably could figure out ourselves. I didn't need them to tell me that. And then Unlimited makes a point. It's a very great point. Unlimited always says this. It's the stuff that that take people by total surprise. Where are these guys at? That's what your insider should have broke to you, right? Because that would have been big news and would have helped your channel. Gogopol, I got into console warning to get away from being a news junkie. Hey Gogo, but that's funny, right? You didn't realize that the console warning would get so bad that you run to news and fight with people about news. Just like today, man. So people was like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear what happened in the Middle East today?" And I was like, "Dude, what is not happening? Nothing surprises me." Yeah, I think same as at MS. Really don't care for Xbox. It's strange. They buy ABK and all of a sudden lost all sense. Is like, what the hell? That's why I would believe more the Civil War stuff, because I think Phil is still that way. Because he understands the business of video games. Eventually over time this might be different, but still this is where it's at now. And he talked about losing that generation with Xbox One, right? Like how he said it was the most important generation because it's digital. So he understands how this works and how to bring it back. This is why I still have faith in him, and I don't, I don't think it's going to go that way when he talks to the audience. I don't know. People say he's trying to be cryptic. Again, he's a business person. I'm not saying he's not, right? Oh, Power World doing so well, and then this rumor just sucked all the wind out of it. Honestly, Gogo, I mean, I think the majority of people that play Power World, I think there's a percentage that keep up with this stuff. But if we're being honest, I don't think a lot of them keep up with this stuff on that level. I'll be more concerned about the cost of the servers for the company. And that's another thing, right? What did Microsoft do? They're actually helping them. Right. So to me, I'm not seeing no panic warnings, no red lights, no red flashes, nothing to indicate to me that this is real from Microsoft. The fact that Phil finally came out, but I don't think he's trying to hide anything. I think Phil just, like, to me, it's not something he was thinking about because it's not true. Again, I know I'm being overly optimistic, but that's the path I've chosen to go. Whereas China is dealing with something serious, population control gone bad. Yeah, that's a lot of Western and Asian countries. right? I mean, their culture was impacted by Western civilization, right? And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but I mean, China especially, dude. I mean, they've been through a lot of stuff. Their history is inundated with struggle, um, death, right? I mean, it's unfortunate because I think they were on that path, right? But again, their government is communist, and it has a lot to do with what they're going through right now, right? And it's unfortunate because the people will suffer because of this. And again, I just did that to give some just give people perspective. Real says facts. Google poll. LOL man, oh man. Unlimited. If they do unlimited production, if they do that, they should resign because they are going to get memed to hell and called liars for their quotes. It will be borderline online abuse. Bad in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying, and I know I'm behind on the chat. Unlimited. But yeah, that's the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw that. If that is true, right? Because they won't be able to live it down, dude. Like I said, things are positive with Xbox and it's brutal online. You imagine when something like this happens, if this is true, it'll be a thousand times worse, dude. Yeah, 100%, dude. People are attacking them right now. People on the Xbox side, all up in their feelings, And I kind of look, dude. I'm not gonna hate on people for doing that because they want to know what's going on, and they're not hearing anything. I do understand that. I am sympathetic to it, especially if you're a true Xbox dude that's been rocking out, right, to it. Like some people doing what they're doing, that's their choice, right? But then like I saw that Sarah Bond was talking about PlayStation, man. I forgot the dude's name, man. But this dude's been kind of like on a warpath lately. I think a lot of people started following him because every opportunity he gets, man, he'll just throw like a negative comment. I was like, dude, can you just let this one slide, man, and just wait till another one's come? She's just trying to promote the game. Yeah, but be brutal for them. We know firsthand. Guys like us that have been in this war since 2013, we know how it is, how rough it can get. Oh, I agree. I'm just thinking Microsoft didn't think it through if they do go third party. 100%. 100%. I like to think that they have. I know they have to weigh the measures thing that they like to do, right? What do we lose? What do we gain? Is the gain more than the loss? That kind of stuff. But I like to think they come to their senses. Cool. But like you said on Twitter, none of this makes sense when you see all the games coming and then stuff like COD on Game Pass. Have they no faith at all in their own brand? What are we missing? Yeah, exactly. Cool. It does. The reasoning isn't there for me. This is why I'm not. Like I'm trying to. Like I'm not sitting here trying to troll just for trolling. Well, I'm trolling certain aspects, but or sitting here trying to be in denial, or sitting here trying to be an expert, like how in a negative light that these people like to paint us in. I honestly looking at it and I'm like if you want to do this, why did you do that? Honestly, that's all it boils down to for me. Just looking at everything that they've done and it's counterintuitive, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, man. I understand I'm kind of looking forward to because usually what tends to happen when stuff like this breaks, I know this is larger than most times, but usually there's like something really great that happens for Xbox guys after, right? Normally they'll get a lot of hate, then boom, something pops up that we weren't expecting, or somebody comes out and says something that contradicts what's the narrative that's out there, and it works to our favor. It's been going on like that for several years. I know this one seems a lot darker for most people, but dude, I'll just be honest, man. I'm kind of looking forward to what Phil's gonna say. And call me stupidly optimistic. I'm just being honest with you guys, man. Because just the way the things worked out for us in this generation, it's always been that way. You have a bunch of people putting crap out there that isn't true. They start spinning stuff, get caught up in their feelings. All this stuff starts going out of place, and then boom, something drops from Xbox. Just saying. That's the way the pattern. That's how it usually goes. So, I mean, it's funny, dude. It's just like I can't. Like I know some people have just cut off with their Twitter. I can't look away. Right? I'm absorbing as much of this stuff as possible. Because if it goes the way I think it's gonna go, man, that'll be like the ultimate troll from Phil Spencer. Somewhere deep inside, I like to think they're playing 4D chess. Oh man, Sega, I just saw your repost of the MCU video. It's so sad, so much arrogance. Yeah, that's what happened to Disney Marvel. it got inundated with a lot of these dudes of a particular generation that I talked about on Saturday, right? That feel like they want, this is what I mean about being counterintuitive. Most of this stuff that we participate in, whether it's video games, whatever, they're a form of escapism. So like you come in as a nerd or a geek, that come into this stuff because you want to escape like the realities of your world, just want to relax, get away from your job, not want to think about World War III going off tomorrow if we drop bombs in Iraq or Iran this time, right? So it's a form of escapism, right? The problem nowadays is that the way people are, dude, it's pretty much like an end time prophecy type of thing, man. A lot of these guys want to see themselves represented, dude. They're very selfish, very shallow. It's all about them, right? And so they want to feel represented, like they want to see themselves, right? Because deep down inside, they want to feel important, right? Like when I watched Superman, at no point in time did I think anything about Superman having to look like me. He was just a cool dude that I wanted to be like, right? We would form ourselves around that character, not the other way around. This is why so much of these properties are failing, man, because nobody wants to read that. And again, one of the problems I have the most with all this kind of stuff is it doesn't make sense, right? Like if you're gonna show me that a girl is gonna fight somebody 20 times their size, you gotta explain to me how is that possible. And you can do that, dude. If you're a great writer, right, or if you love what you do and the craft that you do, there's all kind of ways you can make that happen. People have been doing it for decades. Sometimes they don't pull it off exactly good, but if it's passable, it's not hard to reach that bar. But when all your focus is about me, or I'm entitled and all this kind of stuff, dude, you lost the narrative, man. You're never gonna be successful in that kind of stuff. People that are into this stuff will not like it. Yeah, so yeah. I put that up there, Google. It's sad because it encapsulates in very brief video like what happened to Marvel in a nutshell, and they're never gonna change, dude. Disney's gonna go bankrupt, man. I've been telling all my the Disney friends, prepare for it, man. It's coming in. Totally impatient, almost hubris, even kind of pissing me off. Yeah, true. That's how it is. That's how it is for these guys. Yeah, like that's just the way it is with a lot of people, man. They don't want to put in that work. I'm old school, dude. Unlimited production global. 99% of gamers don't care or interact with any of this nonsense. Nope. This is why, as King David loves to say, right, Xbox should hold the line, or Microsoft should hold the line. It'll take some time. And I don't think they're in financial troubles, right? They just passed $3 trillion. I'm not a person to jump on people about the money they make, or these businesses about making bazillions of dollars. But make it make sense to me, right? You guys can wait it out. I'm telling you, man, just wait it out. Just this year alone. Again, this is why I'm positive. We'll see what Phil says. Google poll. Phil's very pragmatic, but he's also very loyal. He looks hurt every time the bad news comes for Xbox. I'm surprised he lasted this long. The Xbox fan base is mad. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. You don't really have a fan base. Google. Like, think of who your favorite sports team is. Mine is the Steelers. There's a loyal fan base, Terrible Towels. People still talk about Myron Cole like it was yesterday. Like he's still around. I'm a Penguins fan. Love Sid the Kid. Everybody still brings up Mario Lemieux, right? I still remember the Killer Bees, even though we got destroyed. Bonds and Bonilla back in the day. Andy Van Slyke, right? I love Pittsburgh. I like the Pirates, Penguins, and the Steelers. I'm a fan, and not just saying I'm a fan. Dude, I eat and breathe it. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, there is that's the negative for Xbox, honestly, is they don't have that type of fan base, and I don't want them to be psychotic, right? But at least loyal or have some faith. I think that's you can ask for a little bit of that from these guys, given everything Xbox been through and the stuff they've been doing. The only consumer-friendly video game company right now, right? Some of it they have to be because it's a business thing, but you can tell when it's real or not, guys. You can tell if Phil and Sarah are gamers. They care about gamers. They care about the industry. I love Sarah's interview when he talked about who's that team? The guys who did Fable, Lionhead Studios. Go back and watch that video, man. That's 100% unadulterated, uncut, true feelings that she talked about. That you can tell. Truth is, even the most popular Xbox dude, Tim Dog, only has 80,000 followers. A popular tweet from his is 20,000 impressions. Phil tweets, and 10 million people on Twitter see his tweet. Oh yeah, you see how much he was trending? Sarah was trending. Then Tim even trended today because it's that cycle. Right? It's that cycle, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people who are going to be Team Xbox got to realize is that you are, you're like you're like the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day when I was growing up, like the '80s. Like you get that kind of love, right? You're going to get a lot of hate as an Xbox guy, so you got to come correct from the jump, and you got to understand the field. You got to understand again the space you occupy as an Xbox fan, and you can't be thin skinned, man. You got to be hardcore because you're going to get put through your paces, man, on more than like almost every day. If you choose to participate in it, you can just walk away and not look at anything. You could just get lost in Game Pass right now and never even pay attention to all of this stuff going on. And the next time you pop up and find out Microsoft bought Sega, like that kind of, that's all lost in all of this stuff. You can choose to be or not to be. Yeah, thanks for putting that on a little bit. Yeah, that was crazy to see on Twitter, man. And it was all being driven by that. Dude, I saw people that I follow talking about it that don't normally come into I know that they game, but they're not in this deep into it. And it showed with some of their tweets. Kind of was like, I kind of pushed back on a couple of them. I was like, look, dude, stick to the pop culture side. Leave the gaming alone. Because you're just regurgitating some of the stuff they complain about that happens in Hollywood and media in Hollywood, which they're 100% right about. The stuff that they're complaining about, they're actually doing it with the gaming side. And that's how you can tell they're not real. They don't participate in gaming all the time. They're just rehashing what other people are saying. Now, if you're kind of forced to talk about it because somebody asks you on your podcast, that's another thing. But if you're going to do that, at least be cognizant enough to let the people know prior to that. I was like, look, I'm not an expert. That's what I do. Phil words have power. Sony lost $20 billion when he tweeted Xbox bought Activision. Not a single entity in gaming can match that. Yeah, that was nuts. And this is why Unlimited. This is another reason why. Thanks for bringing it up. That I think like if any company's in trouble, it's Sony, right? Because they're the ones, man. They're the ones on death watch, man. It's just they don't get any attention for it. Phil giving Unlimited production. Phil giving rumors credence would be the worst move because then and only then people who aren't hardcore gamers will hear these rumors for the first time. Yeah. I don't think he needed to come out and say anything. And like I said, I have a kind of a wicked nature about me when it comes to stuff like this, dude. I let this stuff go on until the day the game releases. And then when the PlayStation ponies realize they're not going to get the game, then we can watch them all crumble together. And then the people that are like, oh, okay, well, it's not, like you said, the average person will be like, oh, it's not coming to PlayStation? I guess I got to buy an Xbox. Dude, there's a guy that was on Fox News, and then now he does a gaming channel. And so I was looking at his stuff, and then he was talking about how he bought Starfield and why he bought it and everything. And that's the wonderment, dude, that guys like me, you, all of us in the chat, all you guys in the chat, all of us right now, that's what we've had, those experiences, one-on-one experiences in gaming, right? And that's what you want people to have, like when he talked about it, you can tell he's a Nintendo fan. Then PlayStation, he has an Xbox too, but he went and specifically bought an Xbox Series X just so he could play Starfield. Right? And he's not alone, dude. There's a lot of people that did that. Again, this is why I'm a little bit more positive on this, because I think we're going to get an announcement that is not negative at all. Could be wrong, but that's like I said, I know I keep on saying that, but that's how I'm looking at it. Unlimited Productions. Now, one thing I'll say is the rumors have been so over the top. I bet the truth ends up seeming much more minuscule, and people end up thinking it's not a big deal. Do you think they're doing that on purpose? I like to say that Microsoft is playing 4D chess. They kind of let it go to the ridiculous, the ludicrous level, like on Spaceballs, right? When they went, oh, they're at ludicrous speed, and then they go to plaid. I love that from that part of the movie. They've gone to plaid, right? It could be Microsoft. Dude, it's funny how Aaron Greenberg is so quiet on a lot of stuff, right? And then you get a toaster drop, right? Or then he'll come out and say something that just cuts people off guard. I like to think that they're in there in the command center, just coming up with all kind of ways to work this out to their benefit. And they've been doing that nonstop for years now. I don't think they get enough credit for what they're doing, honestly, right? And I would like to think deep down inside Unlimited, I would like to think that's what they're gonna do. 100%. Yeah, that would be smart. Or they could come out with something like I said. We'd like to welcome these PlayStation games to Game Pass. Dude, imagine if that happened, dude. Yeah, because everybody's talking, they're working out a deal, stuff like that. What if that's the deal? Like I said, I kind of think outside the box on this stuff. When everybody's looking at Microsoft, I always sit there and ask myself, why is nobody looking at Sony or Nintendo? Or why would Sony and Nintendo even agree to this? Because it makes no sense for their bottom line. But everybody's too focused on Microsoft when it comes to this stuff. But we'll see. Kogopo, yeah, Sarah knows her games. I was surprised at that interview. Yeah, when she speaks, you can tell. And then it's the excitement, and she's a very positive person, which I like anyway. But when she speaks, dude, the excitement, dude, that's joy. That's pure joy, dude. You can't fake that. When she recounts her stuff, the story she told about her dad, right, and why she likes gaming, dude, she's 100%. I know like some people are giving her certain kind of crap and stuff like that, trying to put her in like this thing where she said something where it's all fake, but all you have to do is watch her just for 1 minute and you realize she's the real deal. Yeah, dude, I'm really impressed with Sarah. I like her. I hope that she gets to get a shot after Phil leaves to continue the momentum, to continue the machinations that Microsoft is putting into play and will continue to do so. It's funny to me, like how they talk about how much flying to Japan, how much back and forth to Japan they've been doing, just for them to do what they're doing now. Right? All the miles that they logged in, dude, all the money that was spent, all the relationships that they built, all the meetings that they probably have to attend, all the teams meetings that they have to attend, all of the bridge building that they have, just to do. Okay, we're done. Again, that's why I'm not. It doesn't. I can't reason that out. Yeah, so I think she's the real deal, dude. It might be Google poll. It might be Tempest in a teapot thing. Nothing we should all get worked over for. I mean, Phil was playing Diablo 4 while all these people were hosting Twitter Spaces last night. Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, dude. That blew my mind because somebody shared it and he was upset. He's like, "Why isn't he addressing this?" And I wrote in the comment, I was like, "Dude, this is awesome. This makes me like this actually gives me like more peace than it does make me upset because it's like if all this stuff, if the world's falling apart, like my thing on Saturday was called Chicken Little, that podcast. If the world is falling, if the sky is falling, dude, but Phil's sitting there playing, of all games, Diablo on top of that, shoot, that would put my mind at ease. Now I know a lot of people want more than that, and I understand. Okay, but yeah, so guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Yeah, nice. Actually went longer than I thought I would, but my kids got stuff to do as well. They were nice enough to have some patience with me today, but I had to get this off my chest because I thought it was honestly, dude. It's just I'm not gonna lie, dude. I just think it's funny. I'm kind of excited about this whole stuff just because, like I said, it's interesting to me, dude. It's just like opening blind boxes like I used to. You open up these blind boxes, right? You get like when I got the science fiction characters, right? And then when you open up these boxes, you don't know what's inside, right? So you get like a 1 in 50 chance of getting I knew I had a 1 in 50 chance of getting the character that I wanted to get, which was Voltron, right? And so what you do is like you get a better chance of getting all these other figures, and it's almost impossible to get that Voltron, right? So you know what you're getting. You pay I paid $49 for this, right? And it's just having that feeling of, it's kind of like dread and excitement, the same kind of thing. That's what I only tell you that because that's how I feel right now. There's a little bit of dread within me, but a lot of it is more on the excitement. But it's going back and forth with me, and for some reason, I mean, like I said, I can't look away. I'm in this for the long haul, dude. I'm all in until Phil hits whatever stage he's gonna hit and starts talking about it. I'm all in, and then from there, depending on what Phil says, then we can discuss, the future or whatever, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm definitely gonna adjust, depending on which way it goes, on either side, right? Because that's you guys know I've been talking about getting more gaming time in and trying to correct my horrible report card I got last year. But it will. Either way, it will. My thoughts on all this kind of stuff is going to skew a certain way. And I've already thought about this ad nauseum. I thought about some of this stuff all before. It's just the way I am. So it won't be a massive change for me. I mean, given the news we see now, if they come on and say that they're going to buy Sega or something like that, who knows, dude? Business restructure can mean a lot of different things, and I know people are tending to be on the negative, but again, they bought Activision King Blizzard. Nothing is off the table. Yep, shove those chips all in. Yeah, dude, I'm all in, dude. I am, dude. I'm at the table, bro. It could be I'm bluffing, but maybe I got that, that straight flush, right? And then who knows what everybody else got. But it's that feeling you have, right, when you're sitting there in that moment, right? That's how I feel right now. I'm not trying to belittle anybody's concerns, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that some people don't have legitimate concerns. For some of the stuff people are complaining about, they're just in their emotions right now, coming on and talking about it. I actually agree with them. We can get into a conversation if stuff goes south, right, about like going third party and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I'm not for that at all. Because I don't see how that's going to help Microsoft in any way, shape, or form. So we can have that discussion now, but this is stuff that's already in my head, and that I've already kind of played out myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I also want to do this video because I think people are thinking I'm coming off of this nonchalant, or that I might be one of these people that'll be like, "Oh, it'll be great if you have third party and stuff like that." That's their opinion. I am not of that ilk, too. There's a reason why, and it doesn't really, like I told you, I'm not a big AAA guy, dude. What I am is I'm a believer in Microsoft's ecosystem and what they built, and then how they are moving forward, man. Because I think that's the key to help save gaming, because it's something that's for everybody, right? And then it has the potential to give people the experiences that they never thought they had before with gaming, and could actually turn them into gamers. And that's what we really need to be doing. I don't care, like, unless if I watch somebody stream, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll watch it just because I want to get like tips and stuff like that. But for the most part, man, I would just play my own games. You know what I'm saying? It has to be somebody that's. There's some entertaining people I watch. Not even in gaming. Those are just people that talk about stuff. Right? There's that aspect of it, but what's the point? Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. Again, another all-in chat. Normally don't do stuff like this on Monday. That's why it is the way that it is right now. I will let you guys know we are going to do a Wrecking Crew podcast, which should be fun. I'm pretty sure everybody will be all over the place when it comes to this, man. But it's going to be a blast. I mean, with the format, dude, I've decided I'm just going to just straight up moderate, dude, and let people have get their bars off, right, and let people talk. Like the traditional hangouts, dude. And I'll do more stuff like this for my own thoughts. And then I'm not going to disappear into the background, which I tend to do, but that's just because I want other people to talk. But what I will do, man, is I just will let you guys, or maybe I'll chime in every once in a while. That's about it. But if you guys are free Friday night, dude, that's the long one, right? You don't have to stay for the whole thing. And it depends on how many people show up, and it depends on how long we go and how the topics are. But that's this Friday. I might do another. I did an unboxing on my channel for the Sonic games that I got. Hopefully I'll have time to go pick up, because like I told you guys, the new Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, those Like a Dragon games, I want to get the physicals of them. I just haven't got a time to go to the store, right? Because it's a little bit out of my way. So hopefully I get time to do that this week, man. And if I do, I'll probably do another unboxing video for that. You guys know, man, I'm a Sega fan, dude. And then something that's kind of crazy is that Sega, I forgot the RNG, whatever, the guys who were doing the game, they've been doing a lot of promotional stuff, and they've been doing stuff specifically with Hawaii, which kind of like I thought was cool. And so I saw on social media, I think it was on Instagram, it might have been Twitter. But what they did was they showed Matsumoto Shave Ice, which is a real popular place. Shave Ice in Hawaii is basically like a snow cone. So, but Matsumoto's is huge here in Hawaii, dude. It's like a tourist attraction too. Like people go there just to eat there. We call it Shave Ice snow cone. But I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Matsumoto's. Now, unfortunately, Matsumoto's on the north shore of the island, which is on the opposite side of where I live. So I was thinking about Saturday, I'll maybe going early in the morning, driving over there because they're actually selling shirts and hoodies, promoting the game, and I would love to get one of those. Unfortunately, I think they don't have my size, but I would buy it for one of my kids, or just to have. I think it's pretty cool. But if that happens, dude, I'll do another video like that as well. Let's start doing stuff on the channel. Well, at least until next week until we see everything that goes on, because that will, like, depending on which way things go, dude, that will affect my channel. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys right now. You know, if things go south, then this channel will be affected by it. That's a little sneak peek. There's a trailer of things to come. Yeah, thanks for being here, Realist, dude. I appreciate it, bro. I'll send you the link on Friday. I'll send everybody. I'll just send it, and whoever pops in, pops in. Gogo, thank you for being here, man. Unlimited, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. I appreciate it. I kind of went longer than I want, but you know how we are, dude. You know how I am. Again, I'm just going through this real quick, guys. Man, there's a lot of comments. Thank you, guys. Always like communicating with the chat. Toolman, dude, I appreciate you being here. I know Anthony Chipmunk was in here as well. Thank you for being there as well. Shane, bro, good seeing you, man. I know you be wrecking shop on Shane be wrecking shop on Twitter, man. I love following him on Twitter. Shane he has no filter, man. He does not care. And we need people like that on the Xbox side, guys. You might agree or disagree with me, you might agree or disagree with Shane, but you need people to stand up for the brand. You need that. If not, dude, it's not, it's something I hope Phil understands. I think that's something that Phil understands, that hopefully Microsoft knows. And Phil pushes that point to them, man, because you need that support. Because when times are tough or you're in a bad economy, we're the guys that keep that stuff going. Because we, when things get rough, dude, that's gaming is where we go to. It's one of the avenues we go to. Dang, 2 hours, man. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it a night, man. Again, thank you guys all for being here. And we'll see what tomorrow brings, right? Xbox All In. Jose Forever, we out.